is absolutely necessary for the peace and safety of mankind that some of Earth's dark, dead corners and unplumbed depths be left alone, lest sleeping abnormalities wake to resurgent life and surviving nightmares squirm and splash out of their black layers to newer and wider conquests. Let us begin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Oddities D&D. Very happy to be here. I somehow got through the intro without hacking up a lung.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Big hearty cough with like a voice reverberator on it. Interesting.
Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend. We're going to kick things off by just going around and introducing everybody. But first, we have to announce that the Heart of Hearts, Fred, is out with a migraine tonight. So everybody, please give her a little bit of love in the chat room. So when she watches the replay, she knows how much you all cared for her well-being as much as we do. And we hope to have her back as soon as possible next week. Love you, Fred. There it is. Oh, I love the sunshiny rose emojis that we got. Those are so perfect.
Thank you, Nora.
Yes, all the love to Nora as well. But going around, we're going to start with introducing all the characters, starting with Nagheim.
Y'all can't see it, but we can. We have a hairy cam, and
Yes!
y'all aren't good enough to see it.
Oh,
Wow.
And I'm Sansan. I play Nagheim, your Drow Wizard.
amazing. Yeah, we get like the big floppy ears all night
Oh my
tonight.
god,
It's
they're
great.
so big. This is like relative to the size.
Yeah, small dog, huge ears.
Massive ears.
Speaking of, that,
Wait.
no, that doesn't work.
Wait.
Cult.
Okay, well, kind of. I'm Chuck. I play the half-orc rogue Galt. Yeah, and I'm rolling back to 40 this year.
That's true.
I'm now the younger sibling in my family.
You're not 25?
Oh my god. Best birthday present ever. Thank you.
No problem.
And up from there, we have Viria.
Yes, and I'm not just a great mind, I'm also a great piece of meat. And yeah, I'm Ari, and I play Viria, our resident Hexblade Warlock.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm gonna massage you with sake.
No, you're not. You hate massages. You dick.
So am I the only one whose brain went to cannibalism there?
Yeah, I was doing like a Wagyu beef kind of thing.
Exactly. I mean, there is a Hannibal cookbook.
Is there?
Yum yum.
There is.
I
Yep.
secretly want that, actually.
Yeah, I'll send you.
It's no
link to
secret
it.
now. It's on the internet. There you go. I want that. All right. Well, before we get into the recap, Chuck beat me to it. Happy freaking birthday, Chuck. Everybody give some birthday love to Chuck because they are the light of our lives. Best thing to happen in the last 3 years, easily. And now,
Only
who-
3?
Yeah, because I didn't know you before that. we had a vacancy of time between
Yeah, we had
childhood
big
and adulthood.
vacancy.
The resurgence is the best thing. There you go.
Yes, now the world has been set right.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, who is reading or speaking or dictating what they remember from last episode?
We have
We have a log.
We do?
Yeah,
I
there's
did
a
put
log.
I
it
didn't
in.
see it. I didn't see it.
It's
Great.
just it came in very late today because I
No
wanted to
worries.
nap.
That is valid. Yep.
Yeah, I can read it.
Go
as
for it.
well. If I'm able to make it, I will be very surprised and proud of myself. Okay. After facing Baba Yaga and her animated ship, not a hut, a ship, the oddities help the Swift's crew, or the T-Swift, to repair their ship to the best of their abilities. The party then takes a well-deserved rest and reconvenes to discuss the last night's events. Rose apologizes to Nagaheim, who insists on pursuing their journey once she expresses doubt over it. The two then get into a fight over the conflict on the boat. Well, the boat, the hut, Baba Yaga. Anyway, with Nagaheim expressing their grief over... I did not proofread this. Expressing their grief over Rose hitting them after they tried to lighten a tense situation. And Rose snaps at them for not being a little more receptive to her panicked reaction. The party's members then go their separate ways, with Colt speaking to Durant for guidance and Rose hiding away for the rest of their trip. Over the next few days, the Swift faces many hardships as it continues its journey across the frigid depths, with one silver lining being their discovery of a box of chocolate out on the sea. Later that night, Viria speaks to Saphira Shadim within a dream and asks for advice in dealing with her friend's hurt feelings and shares some of her chocolate with the dragon. The following morning, they arrive to Isla Cross, and the eyes reunite to disembark and continue their journey, heading for a nearby mountain peak. Also, magic is fucked.
Yeah.
Curtain.
So two things. I forgot about the chocolate thing because in the script I wrote it as fire whiskey. But when you guys started talking about hot chocolate, I was like, I'll just switch it out. It's chocolate now. Fuck it. Number two, point of inspiration for not proofreading, because you guys know how badly I do that all the time. So point of inspiration to Viria.
Like, there's so many mistakes in this. Oh my fucking god.
Welcome to my life.
I was about to be like, I could read it now. I could see, but I was like trying
Yeah.
to read like the second sentence and it caught me off guard. And then when Ari was like, I'll read it, I was like,
Good on you.
I mean,
You-
I saw
you
you didn't
do-
have your
you do.
glasses on, so I was like, yeah, it's fine. There's no spelling mistakes. It's just like the way I like wrote, like,
it was the
yeah, like
wording.
repeat words. Yeah, it's a lot.
And like magic, I change it into snow.
Yay.
All right. So, you guys have made it to the shores of Frostbogen. You crossed the death trap that were icebergs that could have crushed your little ship at any moment. You've learned some of the fallacies and like things that could go wrong with magic in this area. You look towards the first mountain base that you can see. What is the plan going forward on your first day on Frostbogen?
Just a point of clarification.
Yeah.
There were 2 mountain ranges we had to pick from, correct?
There's one that seems to be directly in front of you, which is facing northwards. And then you do see other mountain ranges to the west.
North and west.
Yeah. But it's a little tricky to kind of see, like, if the mountain range in front of you is large and far away, or if the western region is close but small. So, like, perception of distance and everything with it being like a white blank slate in front of you is a little tricky.
Learning that playing a certain video game right now. I'm like, oh, that's way further away than I thought.
Yeah, also I used my 6th level Mystic Arcanum. I remember now.
I'm also going to have Albert, who is currently an otter still.
Hey,
Because I did,
Go ahead, Scout.
I'm
Takes
gonna
forever.
have him kind of hopping through the snow about like 30 feet away from us, like going parallel, just in case he might notice something but closer to the ground or
okay.
yeah.
I just the surface of the snow, Albert.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Just like a little black-headed gopher. Just
I would. Is there a possibility I can speak with like the party about how far away they think everything is, and maybe perhaps make a roll,
sure.
like a survival or perception.
What do you say to the group to kind of help you out? Like, what are you trying to suss out?
Silveria, you're used to all this kind of snow. Does it look like the North Range is further away, or is the West Range further away?
What would I perceive?
Good question.
Yeah.
I will say
Silveria would probably like be able to get like some kind of like estimate, but I don't know which is closer
If I had
as a
to
player.
suggest, I would say a survival of
Yeah.
some sort.
seeing as neither of you are proficient in it, I will say you can each roll a survival check, and we will do an average.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds cool. Ding, 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 ding.
Eh.
13.
Okay.
Why did that not? Oh. Sorry, I'm just
Somebody's
gonna
not
log
in
into.
roll 20.
Well, I
Wow,
opened
wow.
it. I thought I had it open, but turns out I'm not signed in for some reason.
Taking that point of inspiration back.
No, I'm
dare,
keeping
how
it.
dare.
I'm keeping it. Me and my luck need that point of inspiration. And
Also,
I think I already had one from. No, I used it already. Never mind. Okay.
no worries. Do let me know, because I'm always a little worried that some of the sound effects are too loud. So do let me know if it's like overpowering for you guys.
Also, my roll was a 14.
Okay.
I won't re-roll. I'll just use what I rolled. It's just it didn't pop
No
into
worries.
roll 20.
The best you guys can tell, it looks like if you want to get somewhere quick, the northern peak might be your best bet. I'll say that if you're going to take a gamble, that would be it.
All right.
Well,
if
the
you-
northern peak looks a lot closer, but there's no guarantee this is where we have to head. You know, we have no idea.
Well, I propose this. We take to the northern mountain. If it's the right one, great, we're on our way. If not, we're gonna have a better look at the landscape, and maybe we can fly.
Yes, that
towards
was
the west
that was
mountain.
what Nagheim suggested, that we
Yeah,
get a
okay,
better lay
great.
of the land. So All right,
Reiterating.
let's continue towards that peak.
Beautiful.
All right, easy enough to do. So, oh jeez.
I'll lead the way since, as Colt
Leading
said,
the
like
way.
Sure.
I'm. Well, after Albert, obviously.
You bet. So, I will ask everybody to, I guess, make a perception check. I will roll for Rose.
I do have
14
her
again.
I do have her sheet open. So
Oh, you
in
do?
case we
Dirty
need stuff.
20.
Yeah, but you.
No,
do
you go ahead. If you've got it, go for it.
12 for Colt. And
About damn time my 8 perception
that
fucking helps me.
beautiful big 18.
Okay. Let me do quick average because my brain is not good today.
That's a mood.
There's all that
It's
sweet
relatable.
bowling you were doing.
Plus 12. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the bowling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason
that's
and
not a
I,
number.
same skill level when it comes to bowling.
I suck at it as well, so don't worry.
Except for
just-
one of my balls flew off the lane and broke something.
I just
Okay.
take a bunch of shots and then yeet it as hard as I can and
Yep.
hope it hits something.
So, heading towards the base of the northern peak. Trying to suss out if there is any sort of tracks or trails that you can follow. Not so much. You see kind of like desert sand dunes that get blown apart, but it's just snow, white blanketed snow that's just kind of drifting all over the place. Occasionally you do see a little bit of outcropping rocks. If anybody's interested or would have a reason to, you can make an investigation check.
Sure. I mean, this is a spot we could use to hide away from the snow if a blizzard hits or something.
This is literally just a rock. What'd you get? 17? So,
And
oh, sorry, I was looking at, 17 for Nagheim, 10 for you. Got it.
Yes.
Well, you try to kind of like pay attention to this but you're really adamant about, for once in your freaking life, being on the correct path. So you're kind of just narrow-minded right now. You're just, I know if I walk straight, I can't fuck this up. I can't fuck this up. Nagheim, however, Nagheim, however, goes up to the rock, and it's just the light reflection from the overcast skies that kind of catches your eye. And you notice that the rock kind of jutting out is obsidian.
Why would obsidian be here?
What, like, that's not like that lava style rock, is it?
Yes.
Does obsidian? I mean, I know obsidian's a type of rock, but like, does what's so special about it being here?
Is it not native to this area?
I mean, it would have to come from... Is the rock pointing anywhere? Like, it's jetting out, you said. Does the jet point anywhere? Or is
Not
it like
really.
just like up in the sky?
To a Korok, maybe?
God damn it.
Oh my
I'm
god.
so sorry. Okay, I'll shut up.
I want to hate it, but I relate. So, if you want, it's just kind of like that, almost.
Okay. Well,
Did the internet
obsidian-
see that? It's like that.
Yeah.
The black on your black shirt?
I know, right? Hold on. There.
At boob level, it's like
That's-
this, yeah.
Weirdly teasing me.
No.
Okay.
I am neither square shaped nor black. So
Obsidian doesn't find itself on the surface that easily without something happening.
Something
Would I
like
be able
what?
to...
I mean,
like
this place is fucked. Like, our magic isn't behaving the way it's supposed to.
Can I call on my schooling and my brief foray into geology to see where obsidian usually is found and what would cause it to come to the surface?
oh, sure. I will say you don't need to make a roll. You just gotta make a Google search. Because I don't fucking know.
Or how about I rephrase this? Is it
Yeah.
is it indeed unusual that this type of rock is at the surface?
I'll give you this for free. You kind of scratch your head about that, and you have a go between you, Nagheim, and everybody else. But here's the fact of the matter: is that you guys know next to nothing about this island. Case in point, just a metagame for a second. At this point in time, the place known as Balin Post does not exist. That's how unexplored this territory is. Viri?
I think
Well, if I look around, are there any other, like, rocks like this anywhere nearby?
Yes and no. Like, you see, most everything is covered in snow. The fact that you just came upon this one is just because it looked like a black speck across like a white landscape. Looking forward to the horizon, you do see like outlines of like rock on the mountain face itself. But again, everything is just overcast with snow. So you do see snow mounds that could have some sort of like solid surface beneath it, or it could just be a snow mound.
Well, do we want to keep going and see if we find more of these along the way?
Yeah,
We
if-
should.
if I remember, it's volcanic rock, and I mean, this island just could be an ancient volcano.
It could. We could. I mean, maybe that peak's made out of the same thing.
I mean, if it was an active volcano, I doubt all the snow would be here. So I'd say we just go on our way.
Let me see. I guess I'll try. I'll just. No.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna try to. No, it's actively snowing right now, right?
Yes.
Then, yeah, no, never mind.
Okay.
I was gonna like try to use the cantrip for firebolt just to like mark and melt an area, but if it's actively snowing, then
Yeah.
no. And I don't have bonfire, so.
Okay.
I do have green flame blade. I can.
Green
Well,
flame.
yeah,
I should have that as a sound cue.
It's just so we could potentially mark the area, but I should remember we're heading north now, so.
Oh.
Colt
I'll be
will
able
take
to-
out.
that spell won't work. There's nothing. There's no creatures around here, unless I hit, you Colt, and then the flame could mark either Rose or Nagheim.
Why?
We don't need to
What?
mark ourselves.
What?
I know. I'm making a joke.
I mean, I'm all for it.
Sometimes a threat to my physical well-being. It's 50-50. Could go either way. Colt's gonna take out his journal and like draw like draw like a quick sort of like what the skyline looks like with both mountains and like kind of like a really rough map and mark where they find the obsidian.
A
And
very
try to
there
sort
and back again kind of look.
You read my mind, absolutely. And we'll continue to confer with Nagheim on the accuracy.
Okay. Fair
All right,
enough.
we'll keep going.
All right.
Yeah. Making our way.
Making your way towards the base of the
Downtown.
downtown to the North Peak. Yes, I
Ooh,
am.
downtown North Peak has such eclectic restaurants.
Yeah, DM Daddy is very amused right now, but but yeah, as you head there, it's funny you did mention it, Viri. I'll say with your low perception check before, this is one thing you will be able to notice.
I'll rub it in, won't you?
I will every time.
Like Saki.
Yeah. You do notice that there are scatterings of birds of prey in the air. Nowhere near you guys, but close enough that you can notice like the packs flying in like V formation or circling above and then landing somewhere. But the path to the very edge of the base that takes you a good few hours to actually finally reach. That's about all the activity that you actually see. But you guys are at the base of the mountain. It's probably getting close to late afternoon at this point by the time you actually reach the shores. Yeah. What's the plan from this point on?
Do we want to find some sort of outcrop we could use for... I mean, well, Nagheim has their hut thing, though.
We
that
do,
could
but if
use.
we can tuck it away, I mean, it doesn't seem like anything is living on this mountain, but you know,
Oh, the
every
magic is
time-
going haywire, so maybe conjuring that hut will fuck us over.
Oh, yeah, let's. If Viria, do you want to show me how you make like a snow house, and then we'll try the hut after we've established that we do have a backup plan. Do you make snow houses? That's what people in Isilra do, right?
Oh, it depends really on whether you don't have. We usually bring.
The 1%ers making.
She fell back to her native tongue for a second there.
Oh, we do have tents for cold weather, built specifically for cold weather, so we don't really have to do it except if we're very desperate. But yes, I can show you if I remember.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did some of your explorer packs come with a tent? Like, do you guys have tents?
I have wait, did I sell it? Hang on.
I don't know.
Because I remember buying a 2-person tent before.
Yeah, I gave all of my sort of camping gear. I think is in the bag of holding.
I
Okay.
do still have my tent, but it only fits 2 people.
Well, just stack.
Yeah. So we'll have Rose and Beery on the bottom.
Well,
They
I
will-
mean,
they will create a sense of warmth, and then me and the Sliver Boys are on top.
if we squeeze in, I mean, 3 of us could squeeze into here, and then the last person will just keep watch, right? And we'll
Nobody
rotate.
else
Oh,
has a
yeah.
tent? Cult, you have Rose's sheet. Check to see if she has a tent. Maybe if you have 2, then you're good to go. If you have 1, then things are gonna get fun.
Yeah, Vera starts rummaging through the bag of holding to find her tent.
Okay.
She's got a bedroll for sure.
We could also use the folding boat as some kind of cover against the weather.
Oh my god, that's
You know,
actually
kinda like flip it.
really, That's really clever. Let's do that. Oh my god. I mean, I can't hand out inspiration, but when we start the miniseries, you're getting one.
I will need it. So yeah,
Take
Vera also. So yeah, Vera like also brings out the folding boat,
Okay.
and shit, I never settled on a command
Well,
word for this. But anyway, she speaks the command word, and it's 10 feet
don't-
long.
I
Need
thought you
it
said
quite
it was
yet.
float.
Yeah. Thank you, Nagheim.
Oh, I
It's
mean,
like, look what I
don't
can do!
we?
And it's like still.
Did we want to start climbing now, or I figured we would
is-
be stopping now?
Mid-afternoon.
Oh yeah, are we? Yeah, should we keep going?
I don't know why I registered that as late afternoon.
No,
My
you are
apologies.
right. It is late afternoon, but
Oh,
there's
late
still enough
afternoon.
daylight to do exploring if you guys want it.
Okay.
I'd say we keep moving.
Yeah.
Do we
I
want
think
to?
s-
Okay. Want to keep moving up, or do we
Yeah.
want to explore around this peak and stay here for the night and then start climbing tomorrow?
I think trying to climb as far as we can, since we are on a time limit.
You know what? I will say, Chuck, if you could roll a survival check for Rose,
For Rose.
because she is proficient.
Sweet.
Uh,
Yeah, 14.
okay.
Can I use one of my lucks?
No.
Did she have inspiration?
I'm not using her inspiration
Yeah.
Oh.
without
Yeah.
without his express
That's
permission.
fair.
That's cool. So I will say with a 14, the best Rose can offer is that if you guys are going to bed down at any point tonight, probably best to do it where the mountain is kind of blocking some of the wind.
There was all of the documentaries I've watched on Everest and K2 in my head screaming at me, but I'm like, Colt would not know any of that.
Can you message Ari on the side about this so like that Viria knows?
Well, here's
no
where
idea.
dumbass Jason comes into play. Is that a good idea? I was just pulling that out of my ass.
Yeah, it
okay.
is a really good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Usually you want to start very, very early in the morning. Then you have all of the sunlight, which will
Yeah.
generally keep you a little bit warmer. And you can see bad weather coming. That way you can sort of stop and like hunker down.
Yeah.
This is Varia saying all of this.
Oh, sure it is. Not Rose
Yeah.
who made the roll.
Oh, Rose as well.
Rose,
But
who
she's
comes from the
From
jungle,
the jungle.
and she knows all of this.
Well, apparently she knows how to survive anything, so I'm just saying.
Well, that's why Viria suggested the folding boat as shelter against the
That's very
wind.
good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
I can
yeah,
play
let's-
D&D well sometimes.
Yeah, we'll explore around here, and if the hut doesn't work, then we'll set up folding boat and like hunker down for the night, keep warm.
Okay. So, everybody make. Oh man. Investigation is too precise. We'll say perception check, please. Excellent. Excellent.
60.
Ooh,
26.
21.
Excellent. And for
That's
Rose?
pretty good. Did that go through?
Yeah, it went through.
12, yeah.
Rose
No, it
is the
didn't.
lowest? Good lord.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
because Fred is not here. Fred is the magic.
I know. I'm sorry, Fred. This is not my fault.
So yeah, with that, you circle to the northwestern side of the mountain. And you do see to the opposite side from where you came upon the mountain, there are some like ledges and cracks that kind of veer off to the horizon a little bit where the water's edge kind of goes. You're nowhere near it, but you can see where it drops off. You do see a few more outcroppings, and you can kind of tell like either the wind is pretty constant or this particular wind has been going for a long time, because a lot of the ice or the snow that may have melted in the sunlight from this direction, the icicles do tilt towards the west a little bit, just from the cascading breeze and the pushing of the water and everything towards that direction. So where there are little outcroppings extending off the mountainside, the icicles are kind of almost pointing down at you in a very precarious kind of way. But I will say, with this perception check, you do find a couple of spots that you all feel, when you decide to hunker down for the evening, will be a relatively good place to kind of head under. So it'll at least, the element of the mountainside itself will at least help a little bit to keep the cold away. Then you can get your boat on top of you or your sleeping bags and whatnot. So you find a place that you could potentially bed down for the evening.
So we'll probably want to get up literally just before daylight, which I don't even know when that is in this area of the world.
Well, we're very up north, so that means days don't necessarily last very long.
Yeah, what
think.
season is it in the northern hemisphere?
Well, you guys were just cresting back home from winter into spring, I think.
Okay.
So here, perpetual winter, practically.
But when does the sun go? Like, do we get only a few hours of daylight, or do we get, like, because I know where we live, it's in the winter, it's like gets dark at 5, and in the summer it gets dark at 10. We're north.
You want to ask me what the actual calendar day is in this world?
Okay, if it's inconsequential, you could be like, Chuck, move along.
It's not inconsequential. It's just things Jason didn't bother to look up.
We're too clever for our own good. That's
No, I love it because it shows like where priorities are, you know, like, and the details, not me. But that is a good question. I imagine it's not as bad as like Alaska, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, but it is like our kind of winter summer kind of deal. So right now, oh man, we have longer evenings in the winter than the summer, so I'll say that.
Okay, so likely after discussing with the group, we
Night's
could
probably falling very soon.
probably, yeah, sun's gonna go down soon and probably won't come back up till like maybe 7, 8 in the morning, maybe even as late as 9. But it's spring, and that's just from my experience, not cults.
It's all good.
Oh, it's a good thing Nagheim knows exactly what time it is at all. So, I'll be able to
Perfect.
wake you guys up. Since I only sleep for
Alright.
4 hours, and then I get to awkwardly stare at you all for the rest.
Just like that.
Canon.
like a ghoul.
Edward
Yes.
Cullen, is that you?
Sparkle, sparkle. So, are we going to bed down now then?
Yeah, we
I
could
think it's for the
try.
best if we want to get a head start at the earliest time possible.
Okay. Oh,
And do we want? I think it would be for the best if we started a fire.
If we get the hut up, we could start a fire in there. If we don't, we're gonna have to like angle the boat a little bit so we can have the
That's-
fire just outside.
I mean, that's pretty much what I had planned, and the boat could shield the fire from the wind.
Mm-hmm. If the
If
wind's
we-
coming towards the. But
Get
let's
that.
just see if the hut works.
if we get the hut up, we won't need a fire to keep
It's
warm.
true. You can regulate the temperature in there, can't you?
Yes. So, I'll sit down and start my ritual cast with the tiny hut.
Great. Roll the D100.
I don't want to.
Learn.
Oh. Wait, what is that? I don't. Oh, okay. 75. I thought
75.
It was 16.
With a 75. Bubble up. Wizard in the middle.
Is it everything is regular, normal?
You see Nagheim dissolve within the No. Yeah, everything's normal.
Yes. That's so hot. I'm just melting away.
Yeah. I'm
yes.
so
The perfect
interested
shower
what
temperature.
like the supercharged hut would be like. Would it be like the magnificent?
Oh, I had
Mansion?
plans.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I'm so nervous.
I will make sure that like the hut, it's like just as you enter, it's slightly cooler and just gets warmer in the middle, so that way it's not from intense cold to intense heat. So that way there's a bit of natural temperature regulation for the body to get when it goes in and out.
Very nice.
And I will have the inside of the hut almost like representing like the feel of color is going to try to recreate like the feeling of being on the beach. So like warm weather, not just feeling warm, but everyone can have that image of being warm. And then on the outside, if anyone happens to be looking for people, they would see like the hut will stay mostly hidden as like white, but every so often it will just turn like a soft gold and become like a little tiny beacon and then go back to white.
Okay. Hi, Ari.
Oh. Please don't be the power.
I'm
Please
gone!
don't be
I've
the power.
disappeared! I'm not on the stream anymore! I've been replaced by a cute dog! Oh, I'm back. No, I'm not. I'm gone. Ah, I'm gone again!
Oh no! I'm your ASMR. Not anymore.
Yeah, you are.
Welcome back.
I feel like Xander's curse has been transferred to me.
Yeah! Strange. All right.
You know how it is.
So, bubble up. You guys want to make a fire as well? Or is that...
I think no. We Nagheim mentioned that it isn't necessary if you got the bubble up. So
Okay.
Because the fire would just smoke the place up. I mean, we could hot box
Hot pocket.
the bubble if you really want, but
Furia pulls
use a
out
different
weed.
type of smoke.
Colt brings out this huge bong.
Out of the bag of holding. Just
Yeah.
well, we can eat, and I'll take first watch. I know it technically isn't necessary from inside the hut, but I feel like maybe, having someone keep an eye out for strange happenings from the
You
outside.
never want to
could
wake
be-
up to something like drooling with big teeth on the bubble.
Yeah, Nagheim.
I have the bubble to act almost like a beacon if people are out looking. However, the bubble stays up for a solid 8 hours, and if something decides to disrupt us, we would know. But it is still good in case somebody comes by in early evening. to have people watching.
Yeah,
But-
I'll take first watch because you want to wake us, right?
Yes,
So
I will take the last 2, so that way I can wake you up the moment we are ready to go. Well, a bit before that. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, Cole will take the second one, Rose third, and
So on
I mean,
and so forth.
I guess Rose can help with the first 2.
yeah,
'Cause
that's
4
true.
hours
'cause
and 4 hours.
Yeah, we have 2 elves, so. All right.
true. Unless Rose really wants to rest, but yeah.
Rose can give
Rose-
advantage with perception checks for you guys.
That's very true.
Bam, 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 bam.
All right. Well, we can partner up, Rose and me, and then we'll wake you, Colt. You can take the second watch with Rose, and then. Are you all right with taking a watch on your own, Nighthawk? Do you want company?
I'll have Albert and scrolls to prepare.
All right.
And we bed down.
All right. As you all lay down to rest after a grueling day with little to show for, each of you tries to work out the cold that is set into your core. The interior of this magical bubble, which is typically warm enough to keep out the cold nights of TAL'DOREI, is enchanted with heat like that of a summer day in the deserts of Marquette. If this makes for an eventually sweaty evening, you know you will be thankful for it once you awaken to the cold the next day. All of your clothes are laid out in hopes of removing some of the dampness that has permeated every layer, and allow your bodies to thaw as well. It takes a long while for you to distract your mind or ignore completely how stiff and frozen your extremities are, and be able to drift off to sleep. As the first watch under the illuminated night sky begins... What the fuck just happened?
Sorry, you keep saying stuff like hard and.
Stiff and sweaty and yeah.
And we're 12.
And we're
we all
12, yeah.
took our clothes off. We're all children. We're all children here.
It's really setting
We were
a good
trying
scene.
so
It is
hard
setting
not
a
to
good
laugh
scene.
You were
out
trying so
loud.
hard?
Literally us.
Ooh.
Sorry, Jason.
No, it's okay. I realize it's not Shakespeare, but come on. Fuck.
No, it's better than Shakespeare because yours has innuendo.
It really doesn't.
I know it's so straightforwardly like worded, but we are the
Hojo,
problem.
don't you start. I'm watching you. Where the fuck was I?
Please go on. We show you nothing but the greatest.
Something
respect.
about stiff extremities.
Fuck it. Make a perception check.
No.
Oh, Nightwood.
Sorry. Mine's a 7, but I do have help from Rose.
Rose will make her own.
Please.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to use the washroom real quick.
Here we go. Oh,
There we go.
not so bad, Rose. Not so bad.
So... Okay. So as you're both kind of gazing out towards the night, Veer, you realize that you're supposed to be like on watch kind of thing. But there's a little bit of a homesickness when you watch all the northern lights kind of dancing above you. But thankfully, Rose is keeping an eye out there. And as she peers out into the darkness, she watches the snow fall upon the outer shell of the bubble, creating brief white spots before quickly melting and sliding down the surface. And for a moment, she's slightly entertained following the water trails as they cascade down around her. But then she notices that some of the spots remain. Others fall around them and quickly melt away, but two in particular remain stationary. And then you see another two beside it. She nudges you, and it's the sensation of the hairs standing up on your arms, that feeling that someone is standing just behind you. It washes over you before you realize what it is you're looking at. But you know, as you look out into the darkness, like a pack of hungry predators surrounding their prey, the eyes of whatever creatures of the night on this frozen wasteland are all watching you guys.
Now that's good writing.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
That is fucking chilling to the bone.
Shit, we.
And then Colt could not help but ram his hand down his pants and stroke his mouth. No.
I mean, I'm not stopping you, dude.
Oh, tiny feet. No.
Banana! No, just two.
Zeros, I told you he was into feet. No, yeah, it's a good thing we put up that hut. Can like, is there anything that like? Sorry, let me rephrase that. My brain's short-circuited. Like, do we recognize what these things are?
From where you guys are,
Can we see well enough?
all you can kind of see is that animalistic kind of night glow to the eyes. And you just see them passing by. And then you'll see one approach from above, and some down below. But even, well, at this time, I think the moon would be overcast by the clouds that are in the sky. If there was some sort of glow to be had in the night, you might be able to see what form they kind of take.
Can I use the light cantrip?
Wait,
And like,
okay, this is just my brain hiccup. Nikheim, can magic go out of the bubble? This isn't like, because I know like
Or-
people can't come in.
Actually-
the only things that are allowed in and out are the things I've allowed.
Okay,
So that I've set up as allowed.
Nagheim's asleep, by the way.
yeah, I don't know that you would, being on this place, I think it's okay to argue that
Actually,
magic wouldn't be-
Viria remembers that magic here has a tendency of going haywire, so I will fish into the bag of holding and get a torch
Okay,
and light it.
cool.
Also, loving the little synth soundtrack. It's fucking awesome.
It is.
Feslian Studios. Same person we've been using the entire time we've been on here. Fantastic music. Go check
I'll
them
link
out.
them into
Yeah.
the chat.
Royalty-free music, so anybody out there who's running a D&D game or just wants some great music altogether for fantasy stuff, highly recommend them.
Yeah, it's giving me like Mass Effect vibes a little bit.
Point of inspiration to Faceland Studios. But yes, you do see animal eyes out there. What type of animal, you can't tell.
Yeah, I will light my torch. See if I can make something out.
Okay. Sorry, another quick question, Nagheim. If there's a light source in the bubble, can it be seen from outside?
The bubble is described as... like, I believe they can see inside, but the interior, the dome is opaque from the outside. So, and transparent from the inside, so they'll be able to see like the shadows and stuff, and if you light up, it just will show the shadows more.
Yeah,
It'll
like
be like
Frosted.
a light through. Yeah, there you go, frosted.
Yeah.
Yeah. We share one brain cell.
And it's good.
So I'd say with that particular light source, as far as the light extends from where you are within the bubble, you can see, and this might inform you a little bit, that the creatures are still out of the light range.
Well, they are keeping their distance. So they don't necessarily view us as a threat, but they are cautious, which means chances are they'll attack are low. Since I guess they don't know what we are.
Yes, they probably are. Just curious as to what we are. That's
Yeah,
gross.
like any wild animal would be. But we'll tell Colt. Well, I mean, in Nagheim, once you wake them up. And we will keep on watching.
Okay.
And I'll keep the torch lit for now.
Sure.
And I will not do another Rose impression.
I don't think Fred is here, so you're safe.
I mean,
You never know.
I'm gonna have to apologize anyway.
All right. So, it's a little hard to go back to sleep knowing that the unknown is watching you in the darkness. But eventually it does come time to switch the guard, as it were. Who's taking the next turn?
Colt. So yeah, I'll kind of like nudge Colt awake. And I'll go. Yeah, sorry, it's your turn.
What, banana feet? What?
She gives him a very long look, one eyebrow raised. And doesn't say anything.
He gets up and pulls his coat around him and like.
I lit a torch. Do not panic. There are things out there watching us, but they are keeping their distance. So we don't really know what they are. Probably wild animals, but they're not hostile or anything for now.
If you want, Cult, I'll get you to make a perception check at disadvantage. Because Very said, I lit a torch and you looked right in the torch, and then she said, there's things outside, and you looked over there, blurry eyed. It's like you're seeing spots, too many spots, more spots. You think you're surrounded. 4?
Very good. 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I like your bullshittery. That's good.
I'm 90% bullshittery.
You know what? Actually, let me just do they look large or toothy moles or anything? I
I
just
wasn't.
eyes?
Yeah, they're too far out for me to be able to see. We just see, kind of like when, I don't know, you shine a light at a cat in the dark and like its eyes just go like. all
Okay.
shiny, kind of
so
like that.
predators of some sort.
Well, nocturnal animals, that's for sure.
No. You said predator. I got, yeah.
Yep.
Get to the chopper. No.
I'm a sexual tyrannosaurus.
What?
All right,
what?
I think you're still kind of in the throes of sleep there. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I got this. And Cult's gonna keep himself awake by just doing sword maintenance and Jesse Ventura, motherfucker.
Is that what he says?
Yes.
Oh man, I've got to watch that movie again then. That's the best quote.
It has some questionable terms in it nowadays, but yes, he does say that.
That's hilarious. Okay, sorry. You are cleaning up your sword.
I'm got my whetstone out and I'm doing just basic sword maintenance.
Good. I won't make you make a check for that. You know how to do that stuff. All right. Is there anything you want to do while on your watch?
Other than taking care of my swords,
Yeah.
he's gonna take his boots off and like massage his feet sensually. Just get the blood flow getting back into his toes.
Make an intelligence check for me.
All right. Oh, Intelligence?
Yes, please.
There you are.
Okay.
17?
So it has been some time since you have been on watch duty. Thankfully, your elven friends have been very kind to like take over the whole runs for you guys, so you just do your full 8 hours. So it's been a little bit of time since you've actually sat around and been like, and as you're massaging your feet, there's part of your childlike brain that looks at the torch, looks at your foot, but you think better of it, because what if you burn yourself on the torch? And how would you explain that to your friends while you're on lookout duty, that you burnt your foot somehow in a freezing cold environment?
It's like the standing at the edge of a cliff kind of thing.
Yes.
Where you're just like, I can just go right over. You're like, I don't want to, but...
So thankfully, your maturity has grown enough that you don't put your foot in a flame.
Yeah, he's literally doing foot maintenance and it doesn't want to injure it.
Yes. But I will say that your time on watch passes uneventfully. Uneventfully, yeah.
The eyes don't seem to go further or closer.
Once your
I mean, I
vision
guess-
kind of adjusts and you know not to look directly in the light anymore, you do see what Viri was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There is a motion to them. And just as soon as you even try counting them, and you get about 7 or 8 before another pair pops up over here. And then when you add that to the total, you look and they've scrambled. And now it's a mix mash again. So you don't really know how many are out there. But they are constantly walking around, circling, staying stationary. And all these eyes are looking. I'll get you to make one perception check. Just because of a little detail here.
Guidance first.
Roll a
but
D100.
I will get that D100. That looks like a 41.
Check.
That looks like a 41.
Everybody looking out for everybody. Gotta love it.
And then perceptions 10. Does the guidance work?
Roll your guidance.
Okay. I'm just gonna use a regular dice here. Ooh, I'm gonna use one of my new dice
Yeah!
that Daddy gave me.
That's me.
Two.
2. So you add 1.
Okay. Alright. 11.
Okay. I forget what made me roll. I forget why I got you to roll this. Shit!
I've seen about 8 to 10 of these creatures, and I glance away, and they all scatter and move around a bit. And then you said, actually, make me a perception check regarding.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say you didn't meet the DC. We'll just move
Okay,
on.
fair enough. I totally get it.
Not that it was like super important. I think it was just like a minor little detail that I would have thrown in there. It's not gonna make or break the game. It's okay. Oh, my brain. Anyway, so at this point, you can notify the next person on watch.
Which is Neckheim. Colt sort of quietly, as to not wake the others, fills them in on the creatures, how many he thinks there are, and says something cryptic about roasting feet, and then curls up and like falls asleep. Is Albert still an otter?
For now.
Colt has to give him a little belly rub and a cuddle before he goes to bed. He's just so cute.
Cult, make a wisdom saving throw.
Am I gonna learn that otters can take your fucking fingers off? Because they can! Little
They
known
can.
fact! They can bite your goddamn fingers off, and they
They're
will.
vicious.
They're vicious and adorable. Ooh, 20!
So, as you lay down and you see Albert kind of all the way over to you and just kind of like nose in the air a little bit to your general direction. You just kind of give a few scritches like along the neck and back, and then you see Albert just kind of like a floppy soggy hot dog just onto his back so you can do the belly. And as you're doing the belly, you just see Albert kind of like in their heyday, but it's when you take your hand away that they go and you do a few more scritches and a few more. But thankfully, you were wise enough to know that if you keep doing this, Albert is going to keep you up all night. And so
Yeah.
you calm yourself, turn away from the cuteness, and actually go to sleep again.
Oh, look at his little human hands. It's so adorable. I'm very familiar with a wet soggy hot dog.
Hi, Mark.
I'm literally saying this shit just to watch your reactions. Okay. I'm asleep.
All right, Nagheim, you are on watch.
Yes.
Anything you want to do?
I would like to attempt to turn my otter into a snow owl.
Snow owl,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What does that require?
Find familiar. It's a ritual.
Okay.
Level 1 ritual.
Okay. Roll a D100.
I got 50.
50. All right. So, how big is a snow owl?
Something like that.
I ask a question, and you're showing me exactly how, but that means nothing to me.
You know how big I am. It's about 1.5
Half a
feet
me-
tall to 2
At nearly
feet.
half a
like
meter
from chest to head.
tall.
It depends on what kind of owl, but if you're thinking of your classic
1.5.
bespeckled with the fuzzy feet,
Okay.
about 1.5 feet, I'm gonna
About
assume.
1.5 meters on average. No, that's wingspan. Half a meter tall. So yeah.
Okay.
Meters. Yeah.
So
Like-
when your ritual spell completes itself, you look at the otter, and the magic kind of swirls around, swirls up, and then and you see the tiniest little fluff of white just kind of turn their head. It's about that big,
I'm gonna shove it in my mouth.
Okay.
like just hatched.
Get Albert to tuck in here.
And you see Albert wants to climb up your shoulder and like flap their wings, his wings. But you see even his little baby legs are freshly new, so he kind of fumbles with his big ass head and gets back up and hops a little bit, but stumbles again.
Is it an actual infant or just diminutive?
Infant.
Oh.
Well, you're no use. Gone.
Throw him in the torch.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you get warmer in here?
Do you smell
Who
chicken?
knew? Owls are incredible fuel.
Chicken legs.
deal with that later. I guess I'll just sit back, prepare a scroll, and keep watch.
Fair enough. So as the stars above begin to fade, and the dawn of a new day washes over you all, the eyes in the night no longer glow. But now, you can see, blending into the environment almost perfectly, a pack of 12 more white wolves have circled the bubble and are waiting to see what is revealed within. You all awaken. What do you do?
Is that like 24? Are we talking 24 white wolves? Oh, you fuck.
Good morning.
Why don't we have a druid?
Well, let me see.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh.
that's what they were.
Hmm. Don't they have like a home to go to?
I mean, this is technically their home, and
Yeah.
we're the ones intruding.
So, huh. This is an interesting. How much longer do we have in the bubble, Nagheim?
Nekheim would have woken everyone up at bare minimum an hour before the bubble goes down, especially noticing, like, that's bare minimum. Like, the moment it's like sunrise starting to happen, Nekheim would have woken everyone up.
You two regular people, how many hours do you need for a long rest, technically?
8.
No. It's
wait.
6, or 7, but 1 hour of light activity or like not doing anything can be spent awake.
Good.
So,
Yeah, it's 6 hours of sleep and no more than 2 hours of light activity.
Okay.
There you go.
this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, because I mean, have they gotten it closer to the bubble, or they seem to be keeping their distance?
I could try something.
Would I
Let's-
be familiar with like these wolves' behavior, like having grown up in a region with similar weather and similar fauna?
I mean, I don't want this to sound like I'm being a jerk, but I mean, they're acting like wolves.
Yeah, but like would I be familiar with wolf behavior pretty much is what I'm asking.
Any more than usual? I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it's because what I suggest is that we all just grab a torch, and usually wild animals are afraid of fire, so we could just scare them off.
I mean, I could potentially scare them off.
How?
But if this spell goes through, the bubble will end immediately.
Well, maybe we should avoid magic when we have more mundane solutions.
This
Yeah.
could also help us. I was thinking of turning into a mammoth.
Ooh.
It could help us for an hour traverse
Oh.
in the snow.
What does Can I take a look at like the path theoretically that we might be taking and see if a mammoth might be? Does it look like it might be too big, or?
Well, keep in mind, you guys picked a location that would hide you from the elements. So a mammoth in this place, broken bones could possibly happen among
tight
all of you and the
squeeze.
mammoth.
Well, I would like go to the edge of the bubble, and if I felt the spell go out, I would just move forward instead of
Oh,
staying
wait.
and crushing everybody.
Hold up. I do have a potion of animal friendship.
Oh, we've had that for fucking ever.
I have had that for fucking ever.
Oh my god.
I stole it back in Still
Yep.
Ben.
Shit, son. Do it. Because
All
my
right.
disguise ain't gonna do nothing.
Are you guys doing the torch idea first and that as a secondary and then mammoth as a third? What are we, or are we just going straight potion or
Well,
straight mammoth?
I feel like, cause, wait, what does, I'm just gonna look up the specifics of that spell.
Sure.
As you do that, I'm gonna pitch. I say we do animal friendship first, and then if that doesn't work, then we take torches, and then our Hail Mary, if these fucking white wolves don't even care about torches, we mammoth the fuck out.
Yes,
Once we get a little further away
Yeah,
from the
I
tight
feel
space.
like lighting torches might dash our chances of me being able to communicate with these wolves if they're afraid right off the bat.
Yeah, we start in lighthearted and then ramp up.
Okay.
Right. And it says a beast, so can I like identify maybe like this pack's leader, maybe?
Also, saber-toothed tiger might look good on you, Nankar.
Sorry. What did you AB? What? What was your question?
Can I identify this pack's leader, maybe like a bigger wolf out of all of the rest, or like
Uh,
the one that looks like the boss?
right. They're
Vera
all
wants to speak to the manager of this.
He's
At
holding
this-
a coffee cup that says "World's Best Boss."
Yeah, there you go.
At this point, it's kind of hard to tell because they're all in motion and they all look relatively like the varying size doesn't really give you any indication. It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay. Well, we'll try, cause yeah, it says the animal friendship spell lets me convince a beast that I mean it no harm.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll guess. I guess I will. Oh, I can cast it at will, so that means I could technically, like, cast the spell.
It's a
Like,
potion.
it is a potion, but it says when you drink this potion, you can cast the animal friendship spell for 1 hour at will. So, that's the wording. But
Okay. I'm gonna say no to the casting because that would mean that you would have to roll a D100,
I
and it's
know.
a potion, so I'm just gonna give it to you like it's active.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want you to waste it.
Okay. Well, also the wolves have to make like a wisdom save, I believe.
What's the DC?
13.
Okay.
It's the potion's DC, not mine. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, you drink the potion.
Yeah. So Vera just goes, "All right, we're clear on that plan. I drink
Yeah.
this. It looks
Yeah,
kind
we
of
have-
nasty, but I'm willing."
We all have the torches ready to go.
Alright.
Maybe Rose will start like a small fire
Okay.
in the bubble and just have the torches in that fire ready to go.
Fair enough. So, as the protective bubble dissipates all around you, you look to the creatures that pace or stand a little more than 50 or 60 feet from you all. Each of them turns with heads raised and ears perked up to look at you all, bracing for whatever happens next. You watch as one by one the wolves slowly walk away from the group and head off towards the mountain. And just as the last wolf moves to leave, it turns to face you all and sits for a moment, looking back at the group that has gone ahead of it. It turns to face you all once more before taking a few tentative steps towards its... Here's my spell check. A few tentative steps to follow its group, but then sits in wait, looking expectantly at you all. And we
Oh,
will
do you
see
want us
what
to
happens when we come back from our bathroom break.
Hey!
I want to pet all of that.
Cliffhanger!
All right. So, everybody, thanks for hanging out in the chat. Thanks for keeping it going there. And we're going to take a quick 10 minute break just to do a quick bathroom break and get some refreshments. In the meantime, y'all get to see the lovely emotes that Nicola Nora has provided for our lovely subscribers, who we appreciate very much. And you get to see the amazing art by Chuck Monty. Who's that person right there? The birthday girl. So we'll see you back here in a little bit. See you. See you back here. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. All right, so the bubble is down. Viri is amped up with animal kindness and friendship. The pack of hungry wolves that surrounded them have left, except for one, who stands in wait for you all. What do you do?
I'll take a slow step forward. See how it reacts.
Okay.
I think it's our guide.
I mean, I was about to ask him that.
Everybody else?
I guess I'll start standing up and moving towards it.
Yeah.
Cult Rose?
Is there any sort of
Uh,
reaction?
Colt gives a knowing look to Rose, and Rose looks back at Colt, and they both sort of stay by the torches, just as sort of like a backup, not reaching for them yet, not showing aggression, but waiting for Nagheim and Viria to sort of lead this moment.
Okay. So, Viri, as you take a few cautious steps towards the wolf, you see it get up and turn to leave, but keeps its eyes on you.
I'll ask it, did you want us to follow you?
And at that, it takes a few paces down the snow hill that it was standing on top of.
Alright, well, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Are we, through the earring, are we gonna follow it?
Oh, it is heading where we are. Might as well. It's not hostile or anything.
It's going down, though. Are we going up?
Looks like we're going down.
Well, I mean, we...
How well do we know this wolf?
I mean, this potion is active for an hour, from what I understand, so...
Does it allow you to sort of sense the feeling of the animal you're working with, or talk to
It says that it allows me to charm the animal. But that's pretty much, and I would have advantage on any ability checks to interact socially with the creature. That's part of the charmed effect, so.
So, what's the group consensus here?
I'm gonna.
Well, I mean,
following.
it feels like it wants us to follow it, so I might as well.
It's
Honk!
amazing. Eat your noodles. You're good.
They're actually rice cakes.
Oh, close up? Real close up? Hey, don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you. Share with the internet. Yes.
We have a whole new bunch of people watching now.
Yeah. Okay. So.
another community.
Cult's gonna trust Viria's feelings on this, and Nagheim seems to be in on it too. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna quickly hydrate.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, White.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So, following at a steady pace behind this lone white wolf, it leads you on between the base of the two mountains you first approached on Frostbogen. As the wolf leads you up an incline and disappears behind its apex, you all quickly rush to catch up and hopefully not lose sight of the creature. And yet every time you find it once more, its pale blue eyes stare at you all expectantly, but always a safe distance away from you all. At times you worry that getting too close to the creature has spooked it, as it runs further away from you all. But as always, with every new twist and turn, every ascent and descent down the slopes of the mountainside, you find it patiently waiting for you to follow its path. Once the trail has led you all to the rear of the mountain, where the Twin Peaks' bases seem to join, you find a narrow path that the White Wolf easily skips through. But for yourselves, the idea of squeezing through the jagged outcroppings of the stone and ice that almost seem to keep the two mountains at bay, it seems a bit more treacherous. But the path is forward. What do you do?
You're muted, darling.
Is it treacherous because it's icy or rocky?
Both. You see, like the path is hard to squeeze through to begin with, but then there are almost like ice spikes and that same kind of obsidian. Well, no, not obsidian, but just jagged rock spikes kind of blocking and intersecting throughout the path.
Okay. If you guys want to let me go first, I can use my create or destroy water. And if anything looks a little too dangerous, I'll take it out.
Are you okay with this? Because again, magic kind of doesn't go as planned.
Shit, that's right. Well, if we destroy water and it goes over the top, it'll just basically wipe this area clean of snow and ice.
Worry could be if
Or
it
not work
goes
at all.
haywire.
Light, just a question for Jason. Would this be considered difficult terrain?
Technically, yeah.
Because I could use my investiture of ice spell and, well, again, magic can go haywire, but it will allow me to move without much difficulty through this, and I could go ahead and scout and see what's over there.
I think our best bet is to try not to disturb what's naturally there, so we don't run the risk of dying.
Which
That
is why
easily.
I suggest my solution. It makes me able to
fair.
move very easily through this kind of terrain.
If it works, and it also
If
does
it-
not help the rest of us, so then we would still have the same issue.
Yeah, which is why
I-
I suggest I can go ahead and investigate without
Yeah,
putting
I'm
the
wi-
rest
I'm
of you
with-
at risk.
I'm with Varia's.
And that spell
I'll-
would put us at risk still, would it not?
Well, if you stay away from me, then
I think we should just follow instead of wasting our resources and wasting time just talking.
This does sound totally Mass Effect now that I listen to it.
Right?
I heard the
yeah. All right, well, it's really up to you. I don't mind going ahead again, especially since I drank the potion.
Yeah, if you want to go first, I'll follow up. How far away should I stay from you, just in case you do use the invest?
Well, I won't use it if Nagaheim thinks it's a bad idea.
I just
But-
think we should try to keep any tricks in our pocket until we desperately need them.
All
Fair
right,
enough.
well, let's just be careful then.
I'll go first then, because I'm pretty good on my feet, so
Okay.
my sexy feet. And
No.
I'll lead the way
Okay.
carefully, and pointing out obstacles and pitfalls. Like if there's handholds, I'm like, okay, handhold there, step here.
Okay. So that'll lead. There's one check, and then there might be a second. So I'll get you to make an acrobatics check getting through this space.
Guidance.
Okay.
And my little darlings. Blessed Amora, 52, and then the acrobatics roll is here. Oh, it's 25.
Okay. Roll your guidance.
Plus 3, so 28.
28. Perfect. So with that, I will say everybody will get a +4 to their ability checks to get through this because you're pointing out things. All right.
Nice.
So it's like a free
Toit, toit,
guidance
toit.
for everybody. So who is next up? Cult, you do make it through unscathed.
I would go next since I want to keep an eye out for the wolf.
Okay.
I'm on the other side with the wolf, making small talk. Weather's really cold. Is it like usually a dry cold or kind of a wet cold? Because wet cold is just awful. It just gets into your bones.
As you're talking towards nothing, you look off in the distance and you do see the wolf just kind of mindlessly like hunched over and just kind of doing that kind of motion. What they're licking, you're not entirely sure, but it's licking something.
I investigate. No.
Viri, I'll get you to make an athletics check, please.
Can I get a +4 to whatever I roll?
A D4, yeah.
A D4.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's a 23.
Excellent.
And then the D4, which makes it a 26 total.
Awesome. No problem getting through. Again, you reiterate to those behind you as to where the handholds are and little footfalls and one slippery spot that Cult thankfully noticed it in time before they made a total ass out of themselves yet again, but you're good. Nagheim or Rose next? We'll say Nagheim because you're actually here.
Yeah. Can I use... it's acrobatics or athletics?
So far, yeah, but if
Yeah,
you can get something real creative, I might give you something else.
The only thing I'd have would
History.
be...
Yeah.
I mean, could I use my history to mimic the exact movement
Ooh.
that they were doing?
Yeah, this is a little unfair to you. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I have a +1 in acrobatics.
Okay.
so-
Okay. Let's see it. You do have a +4 as well. Pray for a 4.
3 plus 12.
Okay, so you do make it through, but at the same time you take 7 points of slashing damage just by grabbing a few handholds that weren't indicated and just little nicks and cuts along your arms.
Yeah.
Can I pull them to safety? And as I do, Nagheim, you'll feel like a warmth spread through the
I'm
cuts.
not that weak. I still have over 70 health.
I don't care. You're gonna be full bitch and take my healing hands. And because it's an ASMR trait, no wild magic surge.
I smack that healing right into you.
Viri,
Yes, hi.
roll the D100.
No, it's not a spell. It's not magic. It's my ASMR
Right,
racial
Sure.
trait.
right, but it's arcane based. It's
Is it?
healing.
You don't just... any, like, traits like that
Okay.
aren't magically based.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna do it. I thought.
He's
I
giving
thought-
us the business.
So that's 87.
87. Well, you're definitely healed to full. And you have 12 temporary hit points.
Oh, well, there you go. You're welcome.
And
All right.
then...
And then Rose,
Rose?
athletics, please.
All right.
With a D4.
Ding, ding, ding. Boom. Oh, god damn it, Rose. What the hell? And a D4. 14. Sorry, Rose.
Oh, it's dex based. Okay. So same thing with Rose, actually. Ooh, Rose takes 12 points of slashing damage.
Oh, nuts. Oops, come here, back.
And she bleeds profusely and passes out because she is so weak.
I cannot do anything with her
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
HP. I'll write it down as well.
All right, but all of you are on the other side of this crevice, this split rock thing. And once I stop talking, I can actually do what I was trying to do. Boom, got it. All right, she's changed. With that, finally breaching the treacherous gap and finding yourselves in a less claustrophobic environment, though no less cold, you stand before an ominous sight. Here, among the untouched frozen wasteland that has been carved over millennia by nature, lies an intricately carved ice bridge that extends out from the ground beneath your feet across a great chasm. Light similar to that of an aurora borealis emanates from far beneath the earth. Where and what its source may be below, your eyes cannot tell. And facing you, embedded or carved into the face of the mountain at the opposite end of this ice bridge, is a terrifying face. With an open mouth and massive icicles bearing down for its teeth. Standing only a few feet onto the beginning of this ice bridge is the white wolf who has led you this far. A mere speck of white against the massive structure that looms behind it. You watch as the wolf seems to quiver ever so slightly. Its body seems to lower slightly towards the ground. Its face, what once looked canine as a wolf, as it should with its tall, pointed ears, begins to recede slightly. Its eyes, once dull blue, now darken to an obsidian black. Its muzzle slightly pulls forward, melting into the form of a great winter bear. As this new animal form takes shape, it rises off its hind legs and stands tall before you. As it does so, beneath the jaw of this winter bear, you see a humanoid face open its eyes to look at you all. Eyes of pale blue. It takes each of you in one at a time before finally they speak.
Before entering this space, I would advise that once you leave Frostbogen, you leave behind any knowledge of our location, or even our existence. Should we decide to aid you in any way, whatever knowledge we share, you would be wise to keep your sources out of mind and mouth. Trust is earned, not given.
They then turn, not waiting for a response or retort, and head towards the mountain face.
Who's Reese? Their pack? I ask this to the other three.
Through the earring, Colt's like, what the hell is this? What are we doing? What is this? Is this our contact?
I maybe. And I mean, might as well follow them. You don't really know where we're headed otherwise, so.
Colt's going to, like, tentatively and cautiously jog up behind this. Is this a humanoid separate from the bear suit? Is it like a big... Okay. And Colt's just
You say bear
casu-
suit, it's not like, Midsummer. It's not like that kind of like teddy bear, like, whoa,
Oh, yeah, because that's what that movie was like.
He looked
Yeah,
like
like
Teddy
a-
Ruxpin at the end. I couldn't unsee it.
I picture
Like a bear
pelt,
cloak.
Like a pelt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with a taxidermied head on it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Colt's just gonna go, hello, I'm Colt, and these are my friends. We didn't quite catch your name.
You are like 100 feet behind this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was jogging up.
Oh, okay. Well then, I'm gonna continue on here then.
As well, because I want to hear.
I can save you a little bit of detail and say any conversation you try to have, not responsive.
Okay, Colt just sort of falls back a little bit awkward and waits for the rest of his party to catch up to him, and they continue to stroll. And I'll talk to the earring. It's like, is this a terrible decision we're making? We have
Potentially. No, I know. We have no idea. But I'm curious. I'm really curious. I want to see what they're showing us.
Okay, as soon as they stop, we have to, like... Obviously, they think they're doing us a favor. And, I mean, look at this place. This is something.
I mean,
No.
yeah, this structure is sort of terrifying.
Yeah. And it looks exactly like what we're supposed to be researching.
Which is
Now-
why, yeah, I think.
If we're
this
not
is it.
allowed to share any knowledge, about this, then why are they even bringing us here?
No, they
I
meant
feel
they
like
meant they said knowledge about them,
location.
their people.
Okay, I say.
Point of
should we
fact,
just-
cult's not wrong either. They're also talking about, like, depending
About
on
this
what you
place.
guys are after or what you're hoping to learn, you might not be able to take that away with you either.
So it sort of begs the question begs to be asked: what is the point? That frightens me a little bit, a lot, really, actually, incredibly so, because yeah, I have a hard time trusting people I don't know, even those we kind of know.
Same, but the way I see it, we're in a very hostile environment, and this is a lead in a way. The Swift leaves in 6 days at this point. We don't have a lot of time.
All right. Well, I suggest this, and everything that happens, let's have a go plan. Let's have a bug out plan. Nakom, I know you love coming up with exit strategies, so let's to pardon the pun, stay frosty.
I will be trying my hardest to think of ways to get us out of this.
Well, there's the ring, right?
There's always the ring. Okay, that's magic. So, Pete, what do you think? What should we do? What should we do?
Put me down, woman! What the hell? I don't want you smell.
Hey, I only smell a little bit.
You were drinking last night.
Oh, yeah. My whole 5 light beers.
But yeah, in any case, if this person didn't want us seeing whatever they're going to show us, why would they even lead us to it?
Set us up to be sacrifices.
When did we switch personalities? I feel like I was a lot more,
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've experienced a lot of trauma with trusting people.
I get
so,
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're growing as a person. Well, it seems like I'm going backwards, but I think being cautious.
Yeah,
This is all walking and talking through the earring, by the way.
Well, as that happens, traveling across the ice bridge, those of you who feel brave enough to peer over the ledge as best you can, you feel... Oh, wait, hold on. Wow, okay, that was a total flub up in that sentence. Some of you feel brave enough to peer over the ledge as best you can, but a few slick steps that threaten to toss you over the side down to the beautiful yet an ominous void beneath you makes you rethink such curiosity.
Medieval fantasy does not like safety rails.
Yes. Stepping closer and closer to the gaping maw of this literal mountain face. Still uncertain if this was at one point a living entity or just a mere creation to ward off any wandering eyes. You hear a whispered prayer in the back of your minds from some unknown fear within you that hopes that a beast of this titanic size does not still exist. Passing through the mouth and underneath its pointed teeth, your eyes are turned upwards, if only to reassure yourself that the mouth is not closing down upon you. But once you have crossed the threshold and return your gaze forward, an even more unbelievable sight lays beyond. A crystal blue, pristine, and still lake lines the interior of an enormous cave. Hills that rise up from its shores are lined with green grass and trees. At the far end of the lake, opposite where you enter, you can make out more than a few columns of smoke and light emanating from fires that burn within a small community of homes and huts. Without a word of explanation, your guide quickly escorts you along the borders of the lake, heading towards this hidden mountain village. Already, the cold that you have experienced so far in your travels is quickly leaving your body. The humid and almost warm temperature within this space brings a prickling sensation back to your hands and feet. Passing by clusters of trees, your footfalls alert the numerous birds that hide within its branches, and you watch as they soar high above you to the trees further into this massive cave. En route to the village, you see numerous creatures that call this hidden forest home. Beavers along the water's edge, raccoons and squirrels that forage the forest floor, deers that lightly graze nearby, and the wolves that watch them from the shadows. After some time crossing through the forest, you finally enter the mountain village proper. Branching out from the water's edge, the village homes spread out in a semicircular fashion and work their way up in levels along the hills that surround them. The higher the level, the more differing the climate that houses them. Certain homes stay low as to retain as much heat as possible, while the highest levels touch the mountain snow that is broken through from the exterior. At this time of day throughout the village, you can see numerous people moving about their daily lives. A few seem to be skinning and tanning the latest catch of the day. Others are tending to an expansive crop of multicolored produce that flows out and upwards across the eastern slopes. Children can be seen running around laughing and playing, chasing each other all around the adult members of this village, who look on in amusement. Whatever fears or apprehension you had since setting out for this journey, it's here being among this hidden tribe in an unforgiving landscape where you feel calm enough to take a first deep and fulfilling breath. The warm and wet air soothing your body, and the scent of burning wood, grilling meats, and spices do much to ease your burden for now.
I believe this is the untrusting population Sari said we might meet, and we should make friends with them.
Well, yes. I mean, his contact is most likely here. And
I think...
because I don't really see people living anywhere outside.
This is beautiful. Colt's gonna... Is our guide still sort of with us, or...
They're a few feet ahead of you. As they pass by some of the people in the village, they're just kind of shaking hands, just nodding, letting them know that we've returned, kind of thing. And it's about that time where you get to town center, just to have like a name to it, where she turns back to you all and...
There is food and fire that you are welcome to. Be at ease for now. One of the elders will come find you shortly.
And she takes a quick
Thank
bow
you.
and heads off into the village proper.
What's her name? Oh.
It's okay, Colt. You can give her a name yourself. If anything.
Yeah, not that easy, is it?
Wolfram?
Clarabelle.
Wolf bear, bear wolf, man bear pig.
Is the population giving us kind of wide berth? Are they noticing us? Are they suspicious of us?
Make a perception check, please.
I will.
And I will say anybody who wants to might be able to give you advantage.
Oh,
la la.
I want to.
Oh, you want to do your own? That's fine too.
No, I want to give him advantage because
Okay.
you all know how my perception checks go.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
well,
would be
natural
taking
one
it-
and a 9.
Okay. Well, I
Okay,
will
never
say
mind.
this. I will say this. Rose is like queen of perception checks, so we'll give her a roll as well.
Perfect.
I still have a higher perception than Rose. Like,
Oh, I
And
know,
how
but
How's
let's
that
be
work for you
honest.
so far?
oh, not that. That's Chuck's voice. That's not mine.
Yeah. 25.
Yeah, she usually knocks. See, she knocks it out of the park, even when she's not here. All right. So, with that, looking to most of the people living in this hidden home. You brace yourself for scowls or hard looks from those around you. But any gaze that you meet is immediately met with a warm smile and a gentle nod of the head. Even the children who were immersed in whatever games they were playing can't help but whisper between themselves and point at you all. Every so often, one child will be brave enough to come within 20 feet of you before giggling and running back to their friends. It's disarming. And as you look up to the homes and housing that steadily climbs the hills, you notice one particular figure who stands at the very edge of the hillside, closest to the top. And they're looking at you all. Even from this great distance, probably 100 feet or more away from you all, you're aware that they are looking directly at you all. For even though the details of this person and their features are hard to place, it's the glowing eyes, not unlike your friend Viria's, that do not stray from you all.
I would say during like them waiting for this figure to approach them or whatever, Colt has taken out like his chocolate bar and has like been like, you know, kind of like showing the kids and like eating some and trying to like be friendly with the kids.
Yeah, Viria's also like kind of gotten down so she can be eye level with kids and just kind of like waves at them. Still stone faced. She uses.
Are they all?
Evil to the core.
Just very unexpressive.
Are they human or elven, orcish? Is there a melange?
Make a low DC perception check.
Alright. 10.
Yeah, that does it. They're all humanoid. Not. You don't notice anyone with like fur or anything like that. You do see a couple dragonborn. But aside from that, humanoid of every size, every shape. Nothing as small as a halfling or anything. But occasionally, someone who looks very dwarfish. Some straight up humans, some elvish. Or I'd say maybe even half elvish.
Colt's gonna sort of quietly sort of gesture towards the person staring at them with the glowing eyes. Should we approach them? They seem pretty interested and not like the others.
I mean, that's probably who wanted to meet us. Just don't know if we should go to them or wait for them to come to us.
Wolf Guide said that the elder was gonna come to us, so maybe in the sense of being proper, we wait.
I don't want to go and meet them, but yeah, I don't want us to get kicked out when we may just made it here. So
Yeah, when in doubt, be polite.
yeah.
All right. Sorry, just doing a little note.
Or
And
threaten with violence.
could work too. So before too long, you notice a small group of individuals heading towards you. Leading them is a copper-haired woman adorned with thin animal hides and assorted beads around her neck. Her hair is braided high with numerous bones weaved in to elevate her and expand her mane. Eyes shining like malachite as she looks to you all and motions to a fire where there are wooden benches to sit and talk. Once you are all comfortable, she briefly gazes into the fire before taking a deep inhale and turns to face you all. It's curious to think that someone with such a young, freckled face would be considered an elder. But nonetheless...
Alloy, is that you?
I trust that you were able to find something to eat, but if not, please let me know and I'll have someone fetch you something right away.
I think we're well taken care of already. We're just very interested in who you are. I'm Colt, Archibald Cultivarius the Squire, and this is Nagheim, and Rose, and Viria.
I am Aloisio. You dick.
How do you spell that?
ALOYSIO.
Thank you.
Hopefully the cold has left your body by now. Even though the weather lately is somewhat mild, I know it can be still grueling for those who have not acclimated to our home. Now then, while we did receive word from a friend on the outside, little was said other than the when to expect you. We are still asking the why. We would appreciate some enlightenment if you would be so kind.
I'm left thinking that a certain person from the Cobalt Soul might be our connection. Kiransuri.
He didn't fill you in on why we were here?
Nothing as of yet.
Well, I might leave it to our wizard Nagheim to, the most eloquent out of us.
Oh, well.
I like how Cultist sets up Nagheim and then Barry's like, whoa.
I was like, they're the most eloquent of us. Honk.
No, but while Nagheim, if Nagheim wants to explain, I will fish through the bag of holding and produce the pages we recovered from the camp of Dionysus.
Excellent.
We are looking for connection with these pages. They are in, oh my god, what's the language?
Aeorian.
Aeorian text. And we are trying to, just find their connection and figure out why people may be trying to use Aeorian texts to maybe bring back a terrible betrayer god.
Well, it has to do with the vestiges, because these are illustrations of vestiges of divergence, right, Nagheim?
Well, some of them. I don't think they all were. And
No, they all are.
they all are?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes.
At least the two that are shown on the page. Yep.
Wondering if they are hunting down these relics to be able to use their power or what. But it threatens to potentially be connected to Chained Up. If that name rings a bell to you.
She holds out her hand for the pages.
Yeah, I'll give them to her.
So as she looks over the diagrams, she haphazardly just throws out a couple of questions to you all.
So please explain why you have need of us.
But as you contemplate that, you watch as she tries all manner of poking and prodding the parchments She tries to make sense of what she is looking at from a different angle, tries holding it to the fire to see if there is anything that would be illuminated with a light source. The bridge of her nose wrinkles as she sees scribblings along the side, pointing to the geometric shape in the center. Anybody who's paying attention right now could make an insight check if they wanted to.
I won't actually, because I'll be looking around for the figure with glowing eyes who was watching us earlier.
I'll get you to make a perception check then.
Okay.
17.
Excellent.
12.
Okay. And then I'll jump back to Varia in a second. 5. That's just great.
I'm re-rolling it. Can I?
Sure, if you want to. I'm not stopping you.
Okay.
Do your thing. Chicken wing.
Yeah.
With advantage, please.
Okay, so a 13 or a...
That's a 14.
Yeah, 14 or dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You see that the figure is out of sight now.
Okay.
But, surprisingly enough, even with your shit sense of direction, you know where they were, and you've kind of locked it in. Exactly.
Target acquired.
Target acquired. So, Nagheim, though, you watch as she lowers the diagram and see that her eyes were not looking at the diagram, but looking past it and into the fire for a good long while before she speaks again. And you recognize this type of look. There's some sort of recognition or realization that she is connected. And there is a restrained look, brief, but not invisible, that lies somewhere between frustration and fatigue.
I recognize this writing, as it originated from these lands so very long ago. If you were looking for a translation, I would say there's not much to gather. They are simply numbers. But this marking, this symbol, I can't say I know its purpose, but I do recall seeing something with similar dimensions that was housed in a location known to the people who spoke this language. If there are to be answers for you all, I would say it does not lie with us, but at that location. It is deeper into the west of Frostbogen. If you truly wish to continue your search for answers, it is a dangerous path forward. Do you wish to proceed?
We've come this far. This is a land that's full of arcane secrets.
Pull your mic closer, you're cutting out.
How's this?
Oh, I love it.
And there's potential knowledge to gain that can help keep a terrible, terrible creature locked away. And we have to.
Yes, well, Nagheim's made this point several times. We have to take responsibility and do something about it, so...
You watch as Aloysio turns her head away from you all and looks back below the cliffside where the figure you noticed earlier was standing. And as you all kind of look over her shoulder, you once again see that figure on the ground level between two buildings. And after a few silent moments, she exhales a breath of resignment and turns back to you all.
We are not known to the outside world, and we would keep it that way. The same should be remembered for whatever you may find. Many have come here under the guise of study and knowledge, only to show their true colors shortly thereafter. We will trust you to search for your secrets, but we will not be sending you alone. Once you have found answers to your satisfaction, or should you find nothing at all, we will have you return here once again to discuss your findings, and more importantly, your intentions. I don't mean to be antagonizing in any way. You are welcome and protected here. But know that should we deem what you discover, if we find that they are better lost to time, you will not be permitted to take that information when you leave. And I will warn you, should there be resistance to that request, you will not leave at all. We are all too familiar with lies and deceit. But my hope is that history will not repeat itself with you. For now, rest in comfort. Rest here tonight. We will have lodging for each of you. And in the morning, we will have found a guide to escort you to your next location. Should you need anything, I am but a whisper away.
And she stands, gives you a slight bow, and she and her group head back into the village.
I'm sorry, before you leave, can I just
She turns
ask
back
you-
around.
Yes, hi, I'm sorry you had the whole dramatic exit planned, but I
It was
ruined it.
very dramatic. It was very planned.
Yep. I was just wondering before you left if you could tell me about the person that was watching us from over there with the glowing eyes.
No.
And then she turns and walks away. What's that, Yoda?
You know what? As long as they're not in a black cloak, I'm good.
You were!
Yeah, Viria's
They
gonna.
just took it off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Viria's just gonna go like, huh, and like look back towards the. In that direction, for now.
So, I guess this is as going well as what we can be expected. And I say we don't press back on what we're allowed to learn and what we're allowed to leave.
I mean, I completely understand where they're coming from. My people's hospitality was abused in a similar way, so
And
I'm all
if
for it.
I think if it's something that can be weaponized and turned against, you know, the good people of TAL'DOREI, we're gonna have to, like, leave it, because they're not gonna let us take anything like that.
Which I
To be fair.
completely.
Anything and anyone can be weaponized.
True, we're gonna have to leave it at their discretion, though. All I'm gonna say is we definitely have to keep these people on our good side. There's a reason Kieran Story didn't tell us anything about them. Is because he wasn't allowed, so he's following their rules. And I think because we're representing him, we've got to do the same. What happens afterwards?
In a way, he did
I-
keep information from them as well.
Yeah.
So
But what happens afterwards with what we discover, we're going to have to roll with that as we see fit. But we're going to have to respect these people's beliefs and their right to privacy. Go ahead.
It's okay. Just putting it up so you know I want to say something. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Nope.
Nagheim, please make a history check.
Big Nummy is 30.
Fuck
30,
yeah.
30.
Look at that big fucking brain.
So, coming here, you guys didn't know much about the landscape. You knew rumors about difficulties traveling to and from, even communicating with anyone throughout this region. You didn't expect to have flaws in magic or the arcane arts. The rocks, the topography, everything, it's just all new discovery to you. But it's when she mentioned trust, lies, deceit, study, knowledge. One of the biggest takeaways from the things you have read about regarding Eiselcross in general is that the last known group to come to these shores was about 100 powerful arcane mages from Wildmount, and they never returned. You're starting to connect some dots there.
Well, unlike all of our predecessors here, I worship the goddess of secrets. Some who follow the arcane arts believe all knowledge should be shared. I personally just want it for myself.
Well, maybe don't advertise.
Oh, I don't usually advertise who I worship at all. Most people would view me as a villain if I did.
Okay, well, you know, we don't have to. It's not keeping a secret if you just don't say anything. You know, we know you. But yeah, we gotta tread real careful here.
Yeah, we do.
And kind of tuning them out, still looking for
Oh,
that
sorry,
person.
he's long gone. I'm sorry.
I know,
Okay.
I know. I'm still like kind of.
What up?
Very.
Tap you on the opposite shoulder, like hide.
Trying to be nonchalant, lean against door. Oh, no door.
Be casual.
Yeah.
I
All right,
think,
so there's nothing much left for us to do except wait until tomorrow. Then.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad we're getting a guide, because I mean, it's all just wide out there. I was not keeping track of how we were getting here anyway, so that secret is safe with me.
Nagheim sweats in photographic memory. Give it a month. I'll replace it with something else.
Vera would just simply be unable to to guide anyone back here with her poor sense of
That is
direction. So
Such a good thing that I built Nagheim the way I did. Or this group would be lost 24/7
I think
with
there'd be
directions.
more utilization of tracking skills and survival.
what survival one can? All right. Well, are we? Do you think we're free to walk around the village?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm interested in the food. I'm interested in the sports and
Yeah.
the customs. Although I can't write any of it down, at least I'll have the memory of it.
I wonder if they have somebody who watches the weather. Would love to pick their brain.
Well, we could all. I mean, I just kind of want to wander around, so we could all meet back for dinner, maybe.
Yeah, did Aloysius
Aloysio.
Aloysio say direct us to where we're eating or sleeping or anything?
Well, looking around, you do see like there's common tables that are just kind of set out in front of where most of the kind of scents and aromas of cooking is happening. It seems very kind of, not to sound so modern, but like open concept kind of deal, where it's just like, here's some tables you can sit at, you can eat there if you want, you can just kind of read a book, whatever. Not, you know what I mean. Listen to your iTunes, whatever.
Wow, you're mixing all of this up.
So, you know, but it's just pretty much come and go. It's not like, here's a shop for this thing or here's a shop for that thing. You know, it's just
Very Midsummer.
yeah, where that kind of felt like it wasn't necessarily a village, it was more of like a retreat area. This does have like a live-in kind of vibe to it. You know, the only thing I can think that would be similar is probably Viri's village, just a different style, and you know.
Yeah, that's
I put a lot of thought into that.
kind of why I want to wander around.
Yeah.
Feels familiar.
All right, meet you guys here back in a. What time is it?
Dagon, what time is it?
Yeah, Nighttime.
Jason, what time is it?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
check
asking
my
you.
watch.
No, I'd say it probably took you guys a few hours to get here, another hour to cross the lake to where you are now. So mid-afternoon, I'd say.
All right, let's give it a few hours and then meet back up for food.
For sure. Rose is gonna probably make a beeline right to the cooking area and see what things they have and discover cooking secrets. Rose stuff.
Like you
know?
do.
Make friends, learn to cook. Learn to
Barbarians.
cook other dishes. Yeah.
Yeah, that totally happens. For the rest of you, as you make your way around this village, you do come across some homes, and it's much like an experience I've had in the real world, where you'll like kind of peek your head in the door and you'll see people there, and you're like, oh shit, that's an actual home. But they kind of invite you in and say, you know, just come in, take a load off kind of thing, and they have questions about you, you have questions about them. And some of the answers that you get are a little guarded, as you can tell, because they are kind of secretive. But as to just their general life and experiences kind of thing, they're willing to share personal details, just not details about their community. So around every home and hovel that you kind of go to, you do see a different array of faces and cultures. You see the Dragonborns, half-elves, you see tieflings here and there, you see humans, you see dwarves. There's a whole kaleidoscope of different races and cultures within this one community. And it's kind of curious because you're thinking about it, and while you're not trying to be like classist or anything like that, you're trying to pinpoint exactly like, okay, what was the starting culture here? Because they are so diverse. Something had to have been the origin, but now it's just kind of splayed every way.
Yeah, like what's the connective tissue here?
Right.
What's bringing all them together?
But yeah, even when you look for familial ties between what look to be parents and their children, you don't see the connective likenesses as pronounced as you would for like the Cultivarius home. So it's very curious. It's just like a little odd that it's not as pronounced. I keep saying that word. But as you go up the different levels of this surrounding kind of village, there's different climates, and with each new climate there's almost a different culture to the homes and the interiors, the dress, the furniture, even the way they go about their business with whatever they are doing, their crafts, their tanning, their cooking. It feels like you're jumping from one culture hub to another, just going up these different layers of this village. In Viria especially, when you get to the topmost layer of this section, there is only one household at this level. It's empty. It's closed off to you. It's a wide open space with just the house at the back where the snow kind of falls in through a crevice in the mountainside. But this is where you first saw that individual with the eyes, much like your own. Even looking around, well, if you want, you can make a survival check. Put the lip gloss down.
I love it.
It looks great on you.
12.
12. You don't see any tracks that lead off from one direction or another. There's plenty of snow. You can see your own tracks, but you don't see the individual's tracks.
Can I still look around this area?
Yeah,
See if
for
I
sure.
find anything interesting other than the home?
Well, the home is very triangular shaped. For a moment, you have kind of a hiccup in your heart because the last time you saw a building of this kind of shape and size was in the Rift and Mist jungle. This is very similar to, only in the shape itself, not the actual like architecture or any kind of tribute of sorts to whatever was happening in the Rift and Mist. But it is that kind of triangular, almost like, to put it in modern perspective, like ski slope kind of, not ski slope, ski lodge kind of shape.
Alpine.
Yeah, thank you. But other than that, you see stacks of chopped wood over here. You see a tannin rack over there. You do see a straw mat that's kind of over in the far corner behind everything. A few trees, but mostly it's just, well, there's a loveliness to it. That's about it.
No, I'll stick around here for now.
Fair enough. I'll say you make your way over to where where that individual was standing, just to get their perspective. And even for your devil sight that lets you see quite a far distance, you would be hard pressed to make out the details of your group from where you would have been sitting. Then you just kind of sit down, cross-legged, like a certain dragon mommy, and just kind of look out over everything, and ooh, you get the homesickness like you wouldn't believe. That's about it. Anybody else? Oh, is Albert back?
That's Pete.
Hi, Pete.
He's
We all heard
moaning.
that.
He's moaning at me. Cult's he's a little bit more interested in the more lively areas of the village. Did you just smell your armpit?
Yeah, because I put my drink over here. I was like, what the fuck? And then I smelled it. It's me. I smell like a man. It's really bad, guys.
Colt follows his nose to the smell of man.
Radio!
Oh, thank God we're on the internet. Yeah, he's like, if there's any sort of sporting events or, you know, people dancing or people around a fire, kind of where more people are congregated and talking and that kind of thing.
So as you get close to some clusters of groups, you see some that look to be older generation chuckling and laughing and slapping knees and like sharing revelry and having drinks, the couple that kind of spill over the side. Another couple are a few women that are kind of gathered around just talking amongst themselves as one is trying to cradle a baby in one arm and just kind of shush it like shut up. No. Like you do with a child.
Jesus, is the episode of MASH?
I'm not a
I do
parent.
with children.
Yes. But it's at that point where you turn around to see like what else, like where there might be an open conversation, and you just look down and there's a group of children that have been following you as quietly as they could the entire time you've been walking around.
Colt told you take a knee. He goes, "Can I help you guys?"
You see their eyes kind of dart around all over your body because they saw one chunk of chocolate go to one of their friends.
Oh, I see. What do we say when we want something?
Hungry.
Okay, that'll work too. From where I'm from, we say please, but yeah, hungry works as well. And he's gonna take out the chocolate and like divvy it out. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just make sure everybody gets a little taste of it.
When the smallest of the group kind of comes up to get their fair share of the chocolate, you notice that she's not looking at the chocolate. She's just looking at you for a quick sec. And before you can even react, she just kind of puts her hands on either side of your face.
You're so
I stab her.
pretty.
No, don't stab her. What? Pretty? Do you think I'm pretty?
Uh-huh.
Well, you're not so bad looking yourself. Thank you so much. It's a very nice thing to say.
I like your teeth.
Oh, thank you. They're not very big, but you know, they're enough.
I want teeth like that when I grow up.
Oh my god. So cute, I'm gonna die. Are you sometimes you have to be a bit orcish to have teeth like this?
So what's orcish?
Orcish is what I'm half orcish or a quarter orcish, I think. No, half orc. And I'm also half elven.
Oh,
Do you know what that means?
no.
Oh, what does this child look like their genealogy is?
It's like a human girl.
Okay, so you've got little round ears, and oh, we're all over the place. You got little round ears, and
I don't like
know.
my ears.
they're very lovely.
They
See
stick
how
out.
mine? And actually, that's a good thing. You can
like
hear
that.
better. You can always hear better, but because of that style of ear, we call you human from where I'm from.
Oh,
It's not a bad thing. What do you guys call yourselves here in this village?
friends?
You friends?
Uh-huh.
So you're all friends? Do you have a
Yeah.
mommy and daddy friend?
No, those are my mom and dad.
Okay,
They're
okay,
not friends. They're my mom and dad.
okay. Oh,
That's my friend, though.
Okay.
And that's
that
my
little-
friend. And that's... You can be my friend.
Well, my name is Colt.
Hi,
What's your name?
Alana.
Hi, Alana. I would love to be your friend.
Okay.
And then she runs away,
Oh,
crying out in the distance.
Colt is charmed, but still wary.
As you should be. Because while
Yeah.
she distracted you, shift.
I pulled my wrist pocket and I touched the poison dagger and then went for the chocolate.
As you
Which I
should.
no longer have. Alright, so race isn't a thing here. That's kind of utopian. I like it. Doesn't seem like it. I've talked to one small child. Yeah, he's just gonna wander around, sort of listening to conversations. If it looks like he could join one. Are the kids still following him around?
You see that once they had their fix of chocolate, they're like, you know, as you walk away, you see the effects of it where they're just like, whoa! You know, just all around the place.
Like R2D2 for some
Yeah,
reason?
yeah, who knew? Canon. All right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Rose, what are you doing? You're cooking? Great. Okay. Nagheim.
Sweet.
Nagheim probably would have just went down by the lake.
Okay.
Just, took out their book and started flipping through their spells, just passing the time, enjoying the warmth and the serenity of it.
Okay. Cool. Anything on the old iPod?
A nano.
A Zune. My mom thinks it's cool.
It's actually my burnt CD, okay?
Yes.
Oh my god. With like marker written on it.
Oh.
And all my music's off
Super
LimeWire
dance.
too. So
Oh, so you're just riddled with diseases now.
yeah.
TikTok has this great little account. Sorry to deviate for a second. They have a great little account where they show like simple tattoo designs, and one was a cassette, and it just had love songs written on it, like it was a handmade cassette tape. Oh, one of those.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh.
That's super cute.
Anyway, I digress. The evening comes upon you all. A few of the villagers come out and they escort you to different kind of homes and homesteads so that you have a place to comfortably lay down for the evening. Now, it is up to you. I don't want to force this on you. They are leading you each to your own private quarters. But if you would rather stay as a group or double up, that's fine too. I'm gonna burp.
Why would you censor yourself like that?
Because I felt like I was opening up the floor for you guys to talk and I didn't want to interrupt.
So Canadian. What do you guys think? Is it a faux pas to double up? I don't think from what I'm getting,
Well-
is they're not really hung up on those kind of rules.
No offense, but I mean, after sleeping in very close quarters in the hut and on the ship, I'm fine with sleeping on my own private quarters, and we have the earrings. If anything happens, we can just let each other know.
Sure. I
It
mean,
would be good too.
Unless one of you prefers
no,
staying
no.
together.
Called thinking you can have a sad wank.
It probably would do us all some good to have some alone time.
Birya could also go for a sad wink.
Wow. Sure. Yep.
That's when you know you're close. Toes all curled up.
Oh my god. You saw how grab ass we were last night at bowling.
I got my butt touched by a dude. It was great.
Oh yeah, there's so much butt touching. It's amazing.
I was very huggy too. I'm not
It's
usually
a-
that. I was just like, Mark! He didn't.
It's a real affectionate group. It's
Yeah.
so affectionate.
It was
Okay,
lovely.
so what you're saying is that next year we gotta fly out to Winnipeg, so
You
Lots
guys
of
would
grab
have so
ass.
much fun. Oh my
I
God.
want to actually. I have so much like vacation time I need to use.
Chuck
so-
knows such fabulous people, you guys. I'm not even joking.
There lots of good fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll take separate rooms.
Fair enough. All right. So
But,
as you each are escorted, sorry, what, oh, go ahead.
Before they get escorted separately, Colt will go to Rose and goes, "If you get lonely, you can always call on me." And then goes off.
I'm going to wank. And she scurries off.
Okay.
So, as you are all escorted to your different little homes for the evening, they are on the main level, and you're all side by side so as to not feel too separated from your group. As you enter this little space, there is a beautiful, beautiful wood-made bed that holds easily 3 people, but it's all for you. Hand-woven quilts and pelts line the beds. Feathered pillows are nice and fluffy. And at the little corner table for you all, you find a steaming tray of meat, vegetables, broth, drink, all laid out for each of you. There's also a wooden tub that already has steaming water billowing out from it, and a couple of hand-woven towels by the side for when you get out.
Fuck yeah.
Fancy wank. Gonna wear velvet gloves.
So before anybody turns in for the night, is there anything any of you wanted to do?
Well, Viria would like eat, take a bath, have her sad wank, and like right before going to bed, I guess she'd like step outside for a bit, and again like have a look, have a look around.
I feel threatened.
I'm cursing you.
I feel it. My asshole just went. Sanders just shaking their head.
Yeah, just see if I spot some glowing eyes nearby.
Okay, make a perception check.
Perception, right?
Yes. By the way,
Ooh, yummy, yummy.
I've got a whole thing of them.
It's a 12. It's a 12.
Nothing yet.
All
Of
right.
course, you are looking upwards and over to see if they're on the open ledge. And you have a mild shock of panic as you turn to head back inside, because out of the corner of your eye by the lake's edge, you swear to God you saw it. There was a figure there. And they were cloaked in black.
Ooh, can I go down there?
Absolutely.
Can go down there.
Now, there is no daylight or anything that indicates the changing of time. But the town lights, the village lights, they have dimmed slightly to whatever open flame is within their homes. So whatever light coming from the village down to the lower levels has dimmed quite a bit. And as you approach the water's edge, you swear, even in the darkness, you can see a silhouette of the figure. With every step closer you get, they seem just more so out of reach. But then you get to the water's edge, and you realize it must have been a trick of your eyes.
I was gonna say investiture of ice, and then I like Elsa run across the lake. And no, I'm kidding.
Is that how Viri runs across the lake?
Like she's an Adventure Time cartoon.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, I'll kind of like exhale and then
Frost.
head back to my quarters.
Fair enough. Anybody else? Rose? No? Okay.
Colt's gonna eat and enjoy, sort of like 50% enjoy solitude and 50% like he's such a social creature, kind of like miss talking, but he ends up just sort of like chatting with himself, and he writes his family a letter, and without giving away too much detail, writes to them about this place that they visited. And he writes to Kat and, you know, how much he misses her, and but this is real important. Maybe one day soon they'll be able to spend more than a few hours together over months. And then he has a sad wank and he falls asleep.
Make an intelligence check for me.
15?
Perfect. When you're writing to Catalina, there are so many moments that you two shared. That it's not as sad of a wank as you think it is.
Ooh, a cheerful wank.
I was gonna drag it out, but I'm like, I can't. I'm cracking. That is all.
DM me.
If you knew Catalina, you know it's not a sad wink. Anyway, going over. Nagheim, is there anything you wanted to do before bed?
No,
Great. Okay, moving on. No, is there anything you want to see or do?
no.
Fair enough. All right. Well, with that, upon waking the next morning, with the light of a new sun shining through the cave and across the lake's still waters, you look around to find that the tribe has gathered down near the lake's shore. There's a parting through the crowd towards the water's edge, and you notice a young man kneeling on its sands as Aloisio,
Dude, you wrote it.
Oh, I know. But I also wrote it out phonetically and I didn't put it here. So I'm like, fuck, screwed myself. Aloisio stands before this young man in the water. You can't make out what she's saying from this distance, but you can hear the chorus being sung by the rest of the tribe as they watch in reverence. As the young man stands up once again, Aloisio takes him by the head and gently touches her forehead to his. As he walks away from the water's edge, he leans down to members of the tribe and also connects forehead to forehead between many of the people who have gathered. For every adult, they repeat this quiet embrace. But the children who have gathered each receive a hug so strong that they squawk as they are picked up in the young man's embrace. Though this feels like a very somber moment, there are smiles on all the tribe members' faces. As the tribe disperses and they all head back towards their homes, this young man and Aloisio approach you all.
Friends, I would like you to meet Vernid. He will be your guide across Frostbogen. It has been decided that this task should be given to him in order to begin his coming years as an adult. Now, do not take the lack of stubble on his chin. Do not let the lack of stubble on his chin fool you. He knows this land as well as any seasoned hunter. Once you feel satisfied in your search, Vernid will lead you back to our homes, where we will discuss what future holds. With that, I wish you all safe travels, and we shall speak more upon your return.
You finally take in the profile of this young man who is to lead you across this dangerous wasteland. The little baby hairs that are the beginning of a mustache across his top lip. The few blossoming pimples across his nose and cheeks. The eagerness in his eyes downplayed by the nervousness in his fidgeting hands. Nonetheless, he works up the courage to smile wide, showing one silvered tooth, and look you each directly in your eyes as he speaks.
All right, so Aloisio mentioned I will be your guide across the plains of Frostbogen. It is about a 58-mile trek to our destination, which is only roughly 2 days of travel by foot, going at a decent pace. We will be sticking to the mountain bases as much as we can, so to avoid any predators noticing our tracks. But there is a very large section between this mountain range and the next that will leave us quite exposed. So I'll ask that once we get to that area, that we all try to stay small and out of sight as best we can. Now, although I do know the location where we are heading to, I can't say with any certainty I know what it is you will find. Please understand that for the most of the younglings. This is a forbidden place. It is no small thing that the elders are allowing you to investigate this area. We ask you to please be respectful of this as we go. Once you are satisfied with your search of the area, we will head back the same way we came. With the same, please listen, with the same caution as today. If you have any other questions, I will do my best to answer them as they come up. I trust that everybody's prepared for the trek ahead. Then let us be off.
Can I roll a constitution check to make sure I don't giggle?
Yeah, go for it.
Viria
Oh
would
my
definitely
God.
exchange a look with
Holy
Colt,
crap.
like, and yes, welcome Raiders. While that was going on.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so sorry, Raiders.
Are you
That's
kidding?
your
That's,
first
Wow.
experience with me. Hi.
Oh,
that
wow.
is that's exactly what you can expect.
So many of you. I
Oh,
hope
good-
you guys
oh,
had a
good
good
Lord.
stream. Yeah.
Hi. Jeebus. Hello, everybody.
Holy
welcome.
mackerel!
That was
Goodness
insane.
me! Wow. Hi guys. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, we just got our guide, and his voice is a little unusual. And
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
He sounds very knowledgeable, but I don't think I got any of it.
I was dying. But yes, our human DM is very talented and
Oh my
great
gosh,
at this
so
kind of
good.
bullshit.
And so handsome.
Right?
Yeah, keep going, guys. Keep going.
Yeah.
Hi, man.
He's all right.
23. Cult does not even crack a smile. He's just all business.
It's
So
funny
nat
because
20, yeah.
luckily these people are not cultured is not the word. They are not familiar enough with external facial expressions because in cult's brain they're like, oh, I got this on lock. I'm not gonna crack it all. Your non-cracking voice, your face, non-cracking face is. Yep.
The chin just sinks into the neck. It's like,
Yep.
Viria looks as she usually does, so pretty like deadpan, but her face is red.
Okay.
It looks
Nagheim,
like
how are
she's
you
got a
holding up?
tomato on her face.
Nagheim's like, okay. This person is our guide. Like, cool, they picked him for a reason.
Yep. And with a 4 on the die, Rose turns to him and goes,
Oh no! No!
No.
I'm gonna contest.
I'm being mean. Don't
Rose
worry.
would never be that mean.
So,
And very nice to meet you. What was your name?
My name is Vernon.
Vernid.
Vernid.
All right, nice to meet you. I'm Viria. Sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat right now. I can't seem to get it out.
Nagheim here. A pleasure.
And
All
this
right.
is Rose and Colt.
Hi, hi. Pleasure to meet you. You seem to know your stuff. You said 2 days, 58 miles, was it?
Roughly 2 days, yes.
And we're supposed to keep small because of the larger predators. What kind of predators are we talking about?
Oh,
Like,
there's
we
a
saw-
number of them.
We saw the pack of wolves, but that was
There's definitely a number of them, and I'm pretty sure I wrote them down, but apparently I didn't.
Oh, you wrote them down. You don't remember.
that's me. I thought I wrote them
Top
down.
of- yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How dare.
Oh,
Honk.
you grew up here, Vernon?
Yeah, I've spent most of my life here. If we moved around a bit before coming here, I don't really remember it. So this is pretty much all I knew. My house is like just on the second level there. You see the one with the green door?
Oh, that's lovely.
That's home, Vernon.
And are you alone? Are you here with your parents?
I live with my mother.
All right. Yes, I assumed you.
She lets me have the entire basement to myself. It's pretty rad.
Oh.
my God.
Must be
I got
a
you,
lot
Nagheim. I got
cooler
you.
down there. Yeah.
I'm getting such I'm getting such Millhouse from this kid.
Such Millhouse.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, seeing as you grew up here, then we'll trust you with our well-being, and we'll help you as much as we can.
The plan is to move forward as a pack.
It's still.
So if we stay in the pack, we should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We're no slouch. We've been in dangerous situations before, but we're gonna listen to you. This is obviously your backyard.
Oh yes,
and
we will definitely keep
you will-
listening to
you'll-
you. That's for sure.
You will be in charge.
I have no doubt
for
that you are all capable in one respect
the
or another.
guiding part
Uh-huh.
of
If
this.
you need anything, just let us know. And
Well, I'm all packed up. If you're all good to go, then we can head
yeah,
out.
we certainly are. If there's anything you want to put in our bag here, that's I guess you could call it a bag of holding. It's
It's the kind of a magical
Yep.
place.
I
don't know
can
if-
hold my own bag, thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate the offer, though. That's very nice of you.
I got
all
a
right.
pacing pupper. I'll be right back. Gotta make sure he goes outside.
Albert's just like,
Have to pee.
all right. Well, yes, we're all packed up, so guess we
Yeah.
should, because Captain Nami from the Swift
Of Land Nintendo.
I want to go to there.
The
said
T
she would.
Swift, to be accurate.
She said she would stick around for longer than 7 days. Correct? Do I remember that?
If possible, if they're not in any immediate danger, but we're supposed to keep the schedule.
All right, because let's remember we've been here for 2 days.
2 days.
It'll take us 2 days to get there. So
2
let's
days.
make it quick.
Wait, is it Vernon? Is it 2 days round trip or 2 days there, 2 days back?
2 days there, and then 2 days back.
Okay.
We're on a very short schedule here, so
So that'll be 6 days, and then another day to get back to the ship.
Point of
Pardon me.
inspiration to
Oh,
who?
wow.
Let's go Viria.
Oh, cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
get it.
Now, don't forget, you
I
also.
don't know if the newbies that are watching, the new folks that are watching.
Oh, yeah.
If we belch, we get inspiration, but I don't because I have the luck feat.
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
sorry, we're
just
all
way too good at
12-year-olds.
burping, so.
I'm the belching queen.
Yep. Do not
But
forget, though,
welcome.
even though.
Hope you're enjoying.
Do not forget, though, that you also bribed Captain Nami to possibly stay a little bit extra.
Yeah. That's what Viria was confirming.
Yes.
But
Okay.
I was also encouraged to keep the schedule as best I could.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
All right.
We'll move ahead then and follow Vernon.
Fantastic.
Oh my god, I thought that was our game. No, it's a movie downstairs. There was a
okay?
big like a scream of some kind. I
Oh.
was like, ah!
Well, not yet, but wishful thinking.
Oh goody.
With that, leaving the village and heading around the perimeter of the underground lake, out towards the open mouth of the mountain's face and across the perilous ice bridge once more. Vernid turns to his right, heading to the west, and takes a first few steps towards the western mountain range beyond. The cold is just as biting as it was the day before. The wind splits its torment across the mountain peaks and dusts up clouds of snow that dance in spirals above you. The constant hiss underfoot of snow and sleet grinding along the frozen earth persists for hours of travel before it becomes just white noise. Climbing down the western slope of the mountainside, you are slightly taken aback as to how high you've traveled up so far. From this height, you can see the outer edges of Frostbogen's shores to the north and south. Far off on the western horizon, you can see great curved spires that look to be massive ribs of some long-dead creature. Much like when you first arrived on Frostbogen, You consider the distance you may be from those curved spires and wonder just how large they may have been at one point in their life. What do you all do to help progress your travel?
I would probably use my knowledge of similar terrain, being from Isilra, and well, I mean, I would obviously let Vernid lead, but I would try to assist my party members as best as I can,
Okay.
giving them tips on how to walk across terrain like this, how to make their lives easier in general.
Mm-hmm. So I will say we'll roll all at once together, but you will roll a survival check at advantage.
Nice. Or I could just yell at the snow to fuck off, you know. But yes, survival at I hope
Somebody's not listening. I said when I
those
tell
are
you to.
2 8s. 8 and an 8.
Okay.
Because
Now, let's see if Cult will first unmute themselves. There we go. So, Cult. When I tell you to, how are you going to How are you going to assist the group moving forward?
sorry.
I am going to follow Viria with her instruction on how to get through the snow, and I'm going to basically be elaborating on those instructions, and like before getting through that little chasm, instructing, put your hand here, place your foot here, not there, that's ice, over there, that's a rock, and basically using his awareness of his immediate surroundings rather than the larger surroundings.
Okay. I'll say
How to stay upright.
Right. We'll count various for now. So for you, we'll say straight roll perception. Nagheim, how are you going to help out?
Trying not to fall on my ass.
All right.
I don't have anything for surviving. All of my proficiencies are in books. So
I will get you when I tell you to make an insight check.
okay.
All right. Now, what would Rose do hypothetically to help everybody?
She would keep her eye out for predators.
Okay.
She's very perceptive. She's used to dealing with wild creatures. She's probably good at spotting movement.
Okay. That's true. She's done that before, so I'll say she gets advantage. All right. So, Cult, straight roll. Nagheim, insight check, straight roll. Rose, advantage perception check.
Okay, perception for cult and 2 perception with advantage for Rose. Oh, that is not great for Rose.
No.
Perception for cult is 11, and for Rose 12.
So looking at all these rolls, you guys are used to your team efforts, kind of looking out for certain things. You know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you tend to rely on each other for the same things as you go traveling. Someone's being the watch, somebody's leading the way, somebody's looking for footfalls, everything like that. This is such a foreign land to you, and it doesn't help that the environment itself is constantly berating you, so that all your usual fallbacks on each other are just a little slight. So where some people are looking out for footfalls or stepping points, you do stumble quite a bit into the snow. When you're looking out for things that are all around you, movement of any sort, you're a little late to catch things that might have ducked behind some of the mountains or have just peeked up from the snow and then disappeared into the white. Looking into any sort of like feelings of direction or any kind of sense of awareness to themselves. You, Nagheim, slightly untrustworthy, are looking to your guide to see if are you going to get us through this a-okay? You can't really pick up on any confidence or lack of confidence. It's just that they are straight and narrow, heading towards their destination as if it was a straight line going right to there. And for the first 5 to 6 hours of travel, it is nothing but a cold slog through everything. Before long, the overcast sky parts a few places to allow the starlight to kind of peek through. And as the clouds or the skyline behind it, you see its purples and pinks kind of hidden beneath the gray. You know nightfall is coming upon you fairly quickly. What is everybody doing in this open, snowy area?
I can attempt to put the bubble up.
Okay.
Vernon, what's your usual method for bedding down for the evening?
Well, for myself, I usually just kind of dig a hole out in the snow and then I put a tarp over top. Usually there's like a nice little campfire that can be consistently brewing throughout the whole night. And I just kind of curl up around it, let the smoke kind of go through the top of it. But you might end up having to dig yourself out of the snow come the morning, or you may be buried under the snow. It's not terribly bad, but it can happen sometimes.
We've got something a little bit more luxurious.
Oh, thank God.
Hopefully
Well,
it's
yeah,
not a
if-
confirmed thing. It's because magic has a unusual way here. It likes to wander around and is very excitable or very null.
Oh,
So we'll see what happens. Nekon, if you
In
would.
any case, we do have alternate means of bedding down. I have
We
a
got a
Right.
boat.
tent and
well,
we've
just
got
in
a boat.
case. Just in case.
And he walks over to Nagheim, puts his fairly meaty hand for like a teenager onto your shoulder and says,
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's it.
It's no magic, no guidance. I just
I believe in you.
That's good stuff.
So, let's see a D100 to see what happens with this magic that you're casting.
Well, that's an 80. That's cocked.
Ooh.
That's an 82.
82.
Ooh. That's
So-
good. That's good.
As you all stand around Nagheim, expectantly, anticipating the heat and the warmth to kind of envelop you before too long, you are all jettisoned 20 feet away from Nagheim.
What?
And you see a silvery orb circling Nagheim. Nagheim, in your wildest dream, at the pit of your despair, being in this cold, bitter environment, there's always a little nugget of hope and warmth within you. An image of the most comfortable location possible, in complete contrast to this frozen hellscape. Can you describe what that looks like?
One of Nagheim's favorite things was always to grab a good book and curl up beside the fireplace at the cabin. And as Nagheim keeps that image in mind, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna have my own place, own town by
You're
the
cutting out.
woods. Oh, I'm gonna have tower, my own fireplace or cabin, but by the lake in beautiful warm weather. Not having to ever deal with cold like this again. And just clinging to the memory of the fire against their face as their noses in a book.
So as you open your eyes after casting the spell, you feel a slight exhaustion within. because your highest spell has
Yep.
just been used.
Oh no.
But it is quickly replaced with awe and wonderment and a few happy tears as you look around this enormous space where the magic has made your imagination become reality. Now, for everybody on the outside of the bubble is the same shape and size from the exterior. And instead of like a gold filigree kind of dancing around the outside of it, it's now a silvery kind of wisp, a suggestion of where the bubble should be. Thankfully, you all were ejected into snowbanks, so no damage is going to be had. But eventually, as you walk into the bubble to see if Nagheim's okay, for one thing, much like a fantastical TARDIS, it is much bigger on the inside. And we will pick up from there next week.
Yay!
At least the bubble magic works.
Yep.
Yeah,
For a moment there, I was like, did Nagheim teleport? Like, fuck.
Oh my god. That would have been crazy.
Yes, hold on, I just gotta write something down here.
Oh lord. Oh lord.
I can always find my way back.
No, don't roll initiative.
what?
Shut the fuck
What?
up. Stop that.
We're rolling initiative. I gotta go pee.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for jumping into the channel here at the end there. That was amazing. At one point, I think we had over 50 people just hanging out. That's awesome.
55 is what I saw. We still have about 38, which is so kind of you guys to hang
Thank you,
around.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm going to screw up the name, so please thank where the Raiders came from for me. Anybody who can pronounce that name.
It's Panda Queen Plays, I believe.
Oh, was it? Well, I could read that. Why didn't I try that? I thought it was a French name for some reason. It was
Yes,
cut off.
thank
when
you.
looking at
Like
it.
I sneaked around their channel, and I believe they also play D&D. So
Amazing.
Nice.
thank you so much. I hope your session went well.
Panda Queen, if you would like to throw your Twitch handle in the chat for the players and the people in the chat, that would be amazing, because we want to push forward as many of us as we can. But with that, thank you so much for hanging out, you guys. Once again, happy birthday, Chuck.
Happy birthday.
Cannot be said enough.
I've rolled back 4 years, so I'm now, I'm the younger sibling.
And I'm still old as fuck. So,
And I feel like should we redirect all of these raiders and do a
Oh,
raid
sure.
of our own
Sure.
as well?
yeah,
Like our friend Aldrith D&D is playing right now, so
perfect. Let's do that.
Lovely.
So yeah,
We're gonna
thank
do
you
that.
folks. We're going to transfer all of you lovely people over to them as well. So pay it forward as you would. And yes, we will be back here next Sunday, same time, same channel. Look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, as we always like to say at the end of our show,
have safe
Oh my
Say
God.
sex! It keeps
Oh
you
my
warm
God.
in the snow!
Jeez.
sorry, just want to jump back in because apparently we got raided again and we're at 77 people.
Thank you so
crap.
much! That's excellent!
I am so sorry we
That
just
is
ended our
Holy
stream.
What just
mackerel!
happened?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that's
Careful
wonderful.
Kinship just raided us as well.
What?
We're yeah.
Oh my
my
god,
God.
triple rated!
We
Oh, you
just
guys are
finished.
so
Oh.
lovely. Yeah, we just finished.
Oh,
Oh
Holy
my
crap.
god, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
if I didn't end
That
on
is
such
so
a perfect cliffhanger, we would definitely keep going for you guys. Plus, I think some of us have wee tiny little baby bladders, so we need to
Yeah.
take care of that as well.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You guys are so nice and lovely.
Absolutely. So once
We hope-
again, we will be back here next Sunday to pick up where we left off. Hopefully, a lot of you can check out. If you want to catch up on our stream, the highlight will be up in a matter of moments. If you want to rewatch the stream as it is, by all means, we'd love that. We're gonna try and transfer all of you guys over to another lovely channel, Aldrith D&D. So you guys can go raid them as well and spread the love. This is fantastic. What a way to end.
This is really good. I
Thank you
love
so
a
much.
big raid waterfall.
That's great.
All right, everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Bye. Have the safe sex.